Fore play, by Barstool Sports. Interesting noises coming from Frankie before we even started, so I imagine this is going to be an interesting show. He's got bandages. He had surgery since the last time that we met. But anyways, gentlemen, Lurch is going to join. He obviously has a lot to talk about. He posted a picture of Michael Jordan, and then he told us we're going to record it too, and then he said he can't record it too, so he's just going to jump whenever he jumps in. But anyways, hello, Trent and Frankie. How are you?
I'm doing well. My whole body works.
Does it?
Yeah, well,
that's good.
For generally just how it normally is. Okay. I haven't been cut open within the last week or anything, so I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Frankie?
I'm recovering.
Yeah.
Actively recovering. If I sound a little nasally, I got a little nasal drip going on as well. I'm falling apart.
You sound nasally, I would say.
I'm falling apart. I am. Had surgery on Wednesday. It was a very stressful Tuesday. Almost canceled the surgery. I don't know if anyone saw on stool scenes, but a lot of things came up, like with possibility of a concert being put right at the end of October, which I wouldn't have been able to make, and we thought about canceling the surgery. I called my surgeon. He said, you just can't cancel it. Your nerve is completely fucked. We got to have surgery. The reason why we have surgery tomorrow is because you need it. So that really spoke a lot, about my brain and what I go through every single day. The fact that I actively tried to cancel that over a pup punk cover band show.
Like it was like a dinner reservation that you had with a couple of people you weren't sure you wanted to go. I'm just going to cancel that.
Right. No, that wasn't very good. So I ended up going through with the surgery. I still don't know the name of it. It was it's the ulnar nerve transposition. I believe that's what it's called.
It's not Tommy John, though.
No. So they go in, they get the ulnar nerve. It's entrapped. It's tangled. It could be even dead at some points if you're not actively trying to release it. Basically, it's this nerve that gets caught in the elbow where it bends. Everyone's felt their funny bone get hit, and you feel that tingling feeling in your ring finger, your pinky finger. Your arm goes numb. Essentially, I was having that 24/7 of like that ringing feeling, waking up, complete dead arm. So they go in, they make an incision. I don't know how much it is. I haven't seen it yet. He's got me wrapped up like a mummy.
You haven't seen the scar or anything?
I don't know why I'm wrapped up to the hand, so maybe that's a what's up doc. I haven't seen the doctor since he opened me up, so I'll see him on Thursday.
Okay.
So yeah, went in. I went under anesthesia. That was a whole thing. Like knowing you're about to fall asleep is a weird feeling. I was actively saying in my head, "You're about to fall asleep right now. You're about to fall asleep right now. You're about to fall asleep right now," which I don't think you should be doing for your mental health.
After Rick so graciously last week went through all of the things that can happen while you're under, like waking up and not being able to say anything. That was, I'm sure that was one of your thoughts crossing your head.
Well, look, there are people that happens to. I'm not saying it's unlikely, but I just was saying that you had the same amount of chance that they had, and it just happened to them. So I wanted people to be aware of that.
I felt better when I saw how much of a production this was. Like I was basically a person in line on an amusement park ride. So I'm in the little pre-op room, and I'm all prepped. I've got the bib on, and they made me strip down to nothing except for my Tommy Johns, which I was like, this is an elbow surgery. I don't know why my pee-pee had to be out, but So essentially, I'm sitting there. I got the IV going, and we're sitting there watching TV, waiting to go inside. And everyone in the room, I'm hearing Dr. Bennett Brown. By the way, shout out Dr. Bennett Brown. He's a hot doctor. There's no two ways around it. He's like a guy that should have been cast in Grey's Anatomy. He took me when he walks over in his little surgical outfit. He had me hook, line, and sinker. I was staring in his eyes, being like,
"Make you
me open,
more or
baby."
less confident? More or less.
Oh,
confident
I was extremely confident. Extremely confident. It was crazy. Like this guy has just got it all. He's got it all. If you need this surgery, you go see Dr. Brown. He's just the man.
See, my head would say nobody can have it all.
He has it all.
He is so good looking that some other skill has to deteriorate, and it might be him as a surgeon.
He was talking to me about the Ryder Cup as I was going under. Like literally was in the.
See,
room,
I don't want
big,
that. I don't want
the big,
that. I want
the big
this guy like he's
stop watching TV and get in those medical books.
No, dude,
he's like some hot guy who can like get girls and watches the Ryder Cup. I want him like some dweeb who only does medicine and surgery.
I think the last thing I heard was like, "How about Bryson on one on Sunday?" I was just like, "Oh," and then it's just like over. I was swooning. But everyone around me was also doing the same thing, and a lot of them had the same surgery as me. And you just tell that, like, you are one of like 10 people that are going to go through this today. You're going to be fine. Like, guys were getting wheeled in before I was just one in the line of 10. And he just, I guess, bounces from room to room and just fixes people's elbow. I don't know his day, and his day of work is nuts. The fact that, like, that's his day, where all these guys, he walks into rooms, all these people are just knocked out cold with their arms fucking split open, and he just fixes them and then walks to the next one and does that. That to me is nuts.
That's a different day than ours.
Much different day than ours. So, yeah, recovering. I'm wrapped up like a mummy.
Ooh, bubble.
A little bubble.
A little frog in your throat.
And we're on the road to recovery. I have some nice range of motion at only, 5 days after surgery? 6 days?
I was surprised to see this morning and you not be in a sling.
Yeah. It's the nerve. So it's like, it feels uncomfortable. I can't bend it yet. But the fact that there's no, like, I don't know, tendons or ligaments that were torn, like, I can move it around.
You did say that the surgeon or the doctor said afterwards that it was 2 times worse than originally
he
thought.
Called my girlfriend, who was the one who was she was taking care of me. Like, she got the phone call from him, and he said, like, that was a lot worse than we had seen in, like, the EKG or the EMG, whatever the EMG, to see how messed up it was. When he got in there, it was super tied up and deep. So I wasn't lying. I had elbow pain. And the most fucked up part is I sense this left arm coming, because I've been using a lot of the left arm this week, wiping my ass, playing around with myself, trying to do all the things I can with my left arm. And
how is showering?
Showering was an experience.
Yeah.
I couldn't wash my underarm of the healthy arm because I just couldn't get there. So I'm fucking trying to figure it out. I had to shower with a goddamn garbage bag on my right arm, and I'm in there, and it's hitting the garbage bag. It's making that noise that you can probably hear in your head right now. It's just like, brrr, it's like hitting the garbage bag, and it was chaos. And I'm trying to get under there with fucking soap, and I'm screaming. I was like, "Hello, is anyone out there?" And like, my girlfriend comes in, and I just leaned my arm out. I'm like, just soap my armpit. It's just like, it was bad, dude.
God,
I couldn't even wipe my ass. Trying to wipe your ass with the other hand is tough.
Well, you have so much experience with the other hand. 28 years.
I thought about just giving up and just not doing it. Like, it was.
Come on.
I mean, I didn't though. I know it's chaos. I thought about just going ankles to ears in my sink and just letting my mommy do it. Maybe she just takes the faucet, runs it down there like I was when I was a 1-year-old. Hit me with some baby powder.
I definitely feel worse for the people around you than I do for you.
You guys know 100%. How I am.
I mean, we've said it before. You're Michael Scott with the waffle iron when he burns his foot.
I'm dramatic. And I love to be the one who's being taken care of. I fucking milked the shit out of it. I will admit, like, this was pretty.
Why you like birthdays? It's like the birthday. Everyone's focused on you. When you're hurt, everybody's taking care of you.
Yep. I enjoy it.
But what you're saying is that the left arm, the left elbow, is soon to come.
Yeah, I feel it. There's something about maybe my bony structure, but I know that nerve is pinched too. So I'm destined for that room again with Dr. Bennett Brown. I am destined for it. On Thursday when I see him, I'm going to be like, let's just schedule the next one, pal. Let's just get this all over with, and let's just have 2 arms and mummy slings, and let's just go on. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how the process goes of getting this nerve back, because, I mean, it feels good right now, but it's definitely, like, I mean, my fingers are still numb as fuck, so we'll see. Hopefully I can just grip a golf club soon and, like, start to swing. I don't know what that's going to feel like.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're on the road to recovery.
Thanks. Appreciate that, guys.
It's a brighter future ahead. Owens Mixers. Speaking of brighter future ahead, these guys just continue to get it. They continue to deliver fantastic products. You guys got a little Owens transfusion right there in front of your faces.
Mm-hmm. Right here.
OwensMixers.com. Check out the store locator if you're one of those folks who's wondering how you get it. They're in retail all over the place, CVS's, Kroger's, but you can check out their store locator, figure out exactly where it is, and go acquire it. Transfusion mix, we taste tested it about 1.5 years ago. We got it exactly how we wanted it. People were raving about it when we were at the Par 3 tournament at the Baths at Kohler, Wisconsin a few weeks ago. A lot of people there were like, I haven't really tried it yet, which is amazing to me, but they poured it in and they said this is just perfect. Bartenders love it because it's a lot easier to make. You don't have to go through a 10-step process. You don't have to worry about getting the ingredients right. You literally just pour this in with vodka and you've got an awesome cocktail. Same with this puppy, which is the grapefruit and lime. This is Lurch's drink, the Paloma. tequila he pours that in with. And then we've got mint cucumber and lime, and then margarita, and there's many other flavors as well that you can try out. But big thanks to Owens. You go to Amazon, you can get next day shipping. You can do the one that I always forget what it's called, where you get it the
Go Puff.
Same day. Go Puff. You can get that and just get it the same exact day. I haven't tried that yet, but I should. Owens Mixers is they're just one of our longest supporters, one of our biggest supporters, and they create an awesome product. So big thanks to Owens. Okay. Frankie, how loopy were you afterwards? I was a little bit I was bummed we didn't get a little bit more content. Then again, it's also a dangerous kind of time to be. You don't know what's going to come out. So curious how you were feeling afterwards.
So I wasn't knocked out for too long. I was out for like an hour or maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. The process is the actual surgery is not too long. I think it's like 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. So I don't think I was as knocked out as I wanted to be, like, afterwards. Like, I would have liked to kind of be on, floating around, seeing unicorns and shit. But I was definitely out of it a little bit, like giggling in the car, just happy. And I know that my family all said that I was like very, very mellow and not as tense. Like when someone asked me a question or something, or they were just talking about things that they wanted to talk about that I didn't usually like to hear about at the dinner table, I was very receptive to conversation. I was more of a human, I think, on drugs. So I know that you guys have often questioned how I would do on hallucinogens or things like that.
We've always thought we always wanted you to take an edible,
right?
Marijuana edible, and it could go one of two ways. One, it goes the way that it sounds like these drugs went, where you're more calm, cool, and collected.
These were pain meds, by the way.
It's different. It's different. Or you go the other way, where you're how you are normally, just to the 18th degree, and that would be a bit of a nightmare.
I found out that I was nicer.
I could see that.
Yeah. I just think that my brain is so jaded from the last 5 or 6 years here in New York City, this job, running around, being a task guy. My brain's just always been 100 miles an hour. And
I think
that was the first time I was shut off.
Sorry for interrupting you, Frankie, but I could see it being much like your golf swing. Like your brain goes too fast, I think, and your golf swing, sometimes your tempo's too fast. If you slow down, it actually, I feel like, could orient your brain and your thoughts in a kinder and also just more sensible way. So I feel like that checks out.
It totally checks out. I'm trying to do that with more things in my life. Just go slower. I'm trying to speak slower. I'm trying to do this podcast slower. I'm a guy that I like to learn. I like to advance. I like to change myself,
Yeah.
I just sometimes think I run down those hills and I go too fast. I got to take my time sometimes.
Right. If you just take it slow, talk slow, you sound very confident.
Yeah, today I don't know if anyone's already noticed it in the first 10 minutes of the show, but I'm approaching this differently today.
Do you think there's any drug residual because of that? Or
possibly.
You've just seen a new light and you want to try to be that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll still get that fire, right? I'm still going to have that fire in me. I'm still going to want to get crazy and excited, but I know that the person that people saw when I had the brakes on a little bit, they liked better, which was unfortunate,
Yeah. Yeah, fortunately and unfortunately for us.
My mom was like, "Oh, we can talk to you."
Right.
I was like, "What is that fuck?"
You're better off.
You're
better off for us as a crazy person.
But we all know.
Let's put you in a car with Lurch behind the wheel, and then things
definitely. Yes, please. Thank you.
Let's shake the cobwebs out.
This show needs you at your worst for the show to be its best.
And I don't think that I'm fixed. I think this is just day one of me trying a new world. And we all know I crash and burn everything I try and do. So
right, if you start walking around I cannot believe I can't think of his name in the movie, but his name is Ron Livingston in Office Space, where when he goes to that shrink and the shrink dies and he's not able to pull him out of it.
I need to be snapped out.
Right, we got to snap you out of it. What's his name in that movie? Peter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter. How's it going?
Yeah. So you might just be in those early stages of that, and then you'll eventually, hopefully, come out of it.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Once I get out of this mummy suit, I'll be fine.
What's your timetable here? What's your recovery timetable?
Well, I told them originally that I had to do something at the end of November, golf related. And they said that they felt pretty damn confident that I'd be able to do it. It may be painful. So yeah, they were confident. Dr. Bennett Brown was confident in me possibly being able to play a concert October 21st He saw no restrictions in my ability to move. Now, would it hurt like a motherfucker? Yes. But restrictions is what I'm trying to get rid of. I can't like pick my nose if I wanted to. I can't lift my hand up to my fucking mouth just yet.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
No.
My question, when you were talking about the potential thing that was happening in October, the concert, like my question for the doctor would have been, can I do it after the surgery? Is it going to make it any worse, or is it just going to be pain?
Right.
And did you get an answer?
I think that they basically just agreed with my stupid rationale, and they were like, I guess, yeah, it would just be pain. Like, because I said, wouldn't I rather play on a surgically repaired painful arm than a non-surgically repaired painful arm? And he was like, I guess that makes sense. But he's like, you're an idiot. I don't know.
As long as you don't
play the drums.
As long as you don't make it worse, I don't see the downside except for the excruciating pain.
I don't know when it comes to nerves. I've gotten a lot of DMs from people that said that they know the surgery I went into and that there's going to be a couple things I have to do to get this nerve back into motion, which I actually have to DM this guy back.
Another thing I would like, if you do play the drums, I think we should put like a local microphone right next to you that we just have the audio of afterwards of you just like whimpering the whole time,
groaning
because
and
you're
moaning.
In so much pain. Yeah.
I said you should have, and I guess you still could. You sit in front of the drum set and you put your arms behind your back and you have a real drummer behind you and they just do it like they used to do that as like a comedy bit where maybe on Whose Line Is It Anyway or whatever, and they'd make Sundays. And
Great show.
It is a great show. And they throw it in his face. Like, you could just do that with the drums, and it would be funny, and it would, you wouldn't be out of the loop with pop punk.
Yeah, I got a lot of DMs too, because and we don't have to talk about my fucking elbow for an hour here on this golf podcast. And I got a lot of people saying like, I don't care about Frankie's elbow anymore on Stool Scenes. It was like the first fucking 30 minutes of Stool Scenes. So there's been a lot of elbow content at Barstool Sports this week.
We're gonna get to the knee next.
But the reason why I cared so much about pop punk, I got a lot of tweets about this, being like, why the fuck do you care about some dumb concerts? Like, hey guys, like, if you've ever played an instrument in your entire life, or you've ever done anything or gone to a concert, why wouldn't you want to be a part of a simulation where you're a rock star for 2 hours, where you get to go to massive music venues, step up behind a drum kit, and play songs that you love, people in the crowd love, and you get to like legitimately be it's like a Make-A-Wish rock star for 2 hours. You think I'm going to actively try and not do that? At Barstool Sports, we get these simulation feelings where it's like, oh, did you grow up like watching Mike Tyson and like all these great boxers? Do you want to step into a ring with like walkout music and step up in like a prized, ridiculous $100,000 fight on fight night and pay-per-view? Like, is that something that you'd ever want to do? It's like, obviously, Barstool Sports, here's the place that you can do it. Have you ever gone to a concert and want to like hit the fucking bass drum and the lights go crazy and like confetti comes flying out of the stage and people are screaming and throwing their pantyhose at you? Sure, yeah, let's do it. Let's sign up. Well, Barstool Sports has that for you. Why would I actively try and miss that? So when I heard that there was possibly a concert, 2 concerts, one in Denver, Colorado, and one in Chicago. Like, I mean, this was going to be fucking across the country type shit that we were going to be doing. We were traveling to go play pop punk. I wanted to be a part of it.
So I didn't want to miss it. Like in college when we played Rock Band 2 and we got to the higher stages where you play 6 days. I didn't want to miss that because we would rotate drummers. We'd rotate different positions. We had like 8 guys. If you got like kicked out of one of those for one of the big shows, we'd be rattled for like a week.
Also, I know the way this place works and like the whole Smitty thing.
Right.
Smitty got shoulder surgery and then I became the drummer. Like the storyline was too perfect for me to get elbow surgery and he becomes the drummer again. And I'm way too protective of that drum kit right now. It may sound weird. It may sound fucking childish. I fucking love it. It's something I actually love. There's not many things I love in this world anymore. I'm very dark. I'm very twisted. I'm very fucked up.
Jaded.
I love the drums.
Yeah. I think that's fair. All fair.
I'm glad you're surgically repaired. We're all rooting for the a safe and speedy recovery for you, Frankie.
Thank you very much, guys. What if also now I just hit like sick baby cuts and stuff? Like, what if I'm like unreal at golf?
That first post-surgery round is going to be interesting.
I wonder, because it's my leading hand, like if it's going to change my swing. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. That's why I was thinking maybe I hit cuts now because I'm going to be like coming in with my backhand and like my leading hand's not going to be as strong, so I'm not going to be like turning over as much. I'm going to do more of like the Bubba finish where it's like out over my head. That's what I'm picturing my new swing being, like the Bubba twirl at the top, and like I hit these sick fucking fades.
I hope so.
All right.
Your injured game over the last couple of weeks, right before you had surgery, was some of the best game I've ever seen you have, really.
I said that to, was it you, Trent, where I said, I just don't want to get the surgery because I'm just playing decent golf right now. I'm having fun playing the game of golf. And I don't know why I'm actively trying to miss this now. That's another thing. Like, yeah, I love playing the drums. I also love playing golf, and we're playing a lot of golf. We just got off a Bandon Dunes trip. We just went to the Ryder Cup, and now just golf's done for me for 2 months. So that sucks. Who knows how my game's going to be? Am I ever going to hit irons like that again? I was striping balls. I was taking divots. Like, am I ever going to do that again? Is my arm just going to hurt?
I don't know.
Fuck you.
Time will tell. I don't know.
Bailey
We'll have
Farms.
to see.
Bailey Farms tonight.
Ooh, I did not play well there.
Tuesday night, you can check out on YouTube the final installment from our Michigan travel series. We obviously spent 3 days at Forest Dunes. We checked out everything they got there. We documented that well, and then right before we took off, we went up and played Bailey Farms. Completely different public track owned by, 24 years old. Him and his girlfriend and their family welcomed us. Their staff welcomed us. They're excited to have us. And we played, there's like cherry trees on property. It's kind of a farm. It's up by Traverse City. It was really, really cool and a completely different experience than Forest Dunes. And people can watch tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube page, which you should be subscribed to. Bailey Farms, boys.
It's going to be one of the better videos that you've seen, especially stuff of us off the course. We end up going back to his lake house, and we played that game. What the fuck was the name of that game?
Oh, man. I can't remember.
You're going to have to watch the video. It's the game where you combine beer die and cornhole, where you throw this slow pitch softball into the cornhole set, the hole. But we have that on videotape. I mean, we're on Lake Michigan. Right? It was Lake Michigan?
Yeah.
We're on Lake Michigan. The views were out of this fucking world. That video is going to be so much fun to watch because it's just different. Like we're playing a new game that we invented with cherries. So you guys can take that home to your local matches, and when you play out with your buddies, what do we call it? We just call it cherries?
Cherries.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this video. It's taken a while to come out. We did a lot of traveling, so for our editors, it was hard for them to get it out 1 week after the last one from Michigan. So I'm excited for this one. I did not play well, so breaking news. If you're looking to watch me play probably the worst golf you've seen me play on video, tonight's the one. Yeah,
you did not play well. I'm remembering now that you...
Yeah,
down the stretch.
I couldn't hit the ball.
No. It's an interesting course, though. It's different than, I think, probably any other course that we've ever played. It's a cool place, though. Very hilly. A lot of elevation.
And I think if you go to that area, if you guys try and do like our route of northern Michigan golf, like if people try and copy it, I think you will add Bailey Farms after watching tonight to your list.
You should.
It's a really cool course. It's
it is.
Really, 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 really fun. Super unique.
Yeah, it's kind of it was a little bit more of the people's option around the area. That a lot of folks recommended it to us, and then they reached out, and we realized very quickly that a lot of people that go up there that maybe they're not going to go to an Arcadia or Forest Dunes or one of the more expensive resort courses. You go over to Bailey Farms, very common move, and you get enormous bang for your buck there. So people are going to like it. It's a little different, and then we get the whole Lake Michigan part at the end, like I said. We got a Sim 2 driver, tailor-made giveaway coming up, so pay attention to our social channels. We're going to be giving away a Sim 2 driver. You want one of those because it's an absolute weapon. And then we got a lot to get to on the topical front. We've got Bryson, obviously, at the World Long Drive. We've got multiple caddy shakeups, JT and Bubba Watson. So we're going to get to that. First, I would talk about my weekend. I had a crazy weekend where I went to Pittsburgh, played Oakmont on Friday. Now, I got invited several months ago. If people recall, we went to Oakmont before we played the Old Stonewall for the Barstool Classic. Myself and Kisner and a few of his crew, a few people from our crew, Ian and Nick that work on the Classic, and we had a nice little day. Well, that same kind of crew set me up with some of the folks at Oakmont, and they invited me to come to their annual SWAT party, which was this past Friday, play in their SWAT game, which is pretty famous, which I'll talk about, and then give a funny storytelling speech to the Oakmont membership Friday night.
Nightmare.
Which I was obviously extremely, extremely nervous about, but tried to act like I wasn't. So I want to talk a little bit first about Oakmont. So I remember like 2016 when they had the U.S. Open there, Dustin Johnson won. They did like this 2-minute segment on Golf Channel, like Tim Rosefort did, about the SWAT game, which I really didn't know much about, but it's pretty famous in golf lore, and if you're really deep in the private clubs and the prestige and all that. And the Oakmont SWAT game is the membership plays 3 days a week. They do anywhere between like 4 and 7 sums, and they just play one low best ball gross out of your group, and then you play a match against every other group that's on the course. You might have like 15 matches going on against like all kinds of different groups. They document everything in these leather-bound books that they keep in their SWAT room, and they've literally documented every SWAT game for 100 years or since the beginning of time at Oakmont. So they've got these dozens of leather-bound, thick, like awesome leather-bound books.
Every time you say leather-bound books, I think of Will Ferrell from fucking Anchorman. Of course. It's impossible for you to say that word without me thinking about it.
Put that soundbite in right here.
I thought about that too every time.
It's crazy. You can't use that terminology anymore. He owns that. Like, you have to call it something else.
I'm fine with that. I like that people are thinking about that in their brain like I am. But they've got handwritten documentation in all these books of every game they've ever had. And like before the Open, I believe it was 62 when Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer went after each other. Like, they went up there and played in the SWAT game. So these books have, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, all like Riggs from fucking St. Charles, Missouri, all these people in these books that have been documented forever. And then they do a sort of like end of the summer, fall, like early fall annual SWAT party where they have the staff, the turf crew, which we're obviously very close with turf crews. Shout out to Behind the Greens and Frankie and E-Bug. But the turf crew goes ham, and they try to get the greens at Oakmont as fast as they can possibly get them for this one day a year. Guess what the greens were stemping out at on Friday at Oakmont?
I mean, isn't it like when it gets like 15 or 14, isn't it like 14 and a half, 15? Isn't that unplayable? Like,
pretty close.
Yeah.
What were they
15,
running?
I don't know.
They were stemping over a 17.
That's
insane.
Dude.
That's like, you can't play on that.
Ice.
They rolled them between 6:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. and we had a shotgun start. They rolled them 11 times.
Oh, my God. I mean, is there even any grass on those greens? Is it just fucking cement?
Right. Well, I can't even like envision that.
So the first story I told, like when I gave up my little spiel, I told this story of when I got over to the putting green. And we got there like an hour and a half early. We had lunch, went to the range, and then we were doing a shotgun start at 1 o'clock. And so when we did that, I went over to the putting green about 30 minutes before, and I had already heard all this. Everyone had been telling me, like, they're stimping at over a 17. They rolled them 11 times and all this crazy stuff. I already knew in my head that the greens were unbelievably fast. So I was prepared. I started on the putting green with about a 15-foot little downhill putt. I putted it 35 feet too far into, like, this other group of people on the putting green, and I just abandoned the golf ball and just aimed a different way and acted like I didn't know where it came from.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't, there were like 20 people in this little circle chit-chatting and putting, and my ball just came in like a wrecking ball, and I literally just abandoned it and acted like it wasn't me. And the greens were laughable the entire round, like Mickey Mousey, but also since they do it once a week, it was incredibly fun. So it was like Oakmont, like you'd heard about, times a million. And on the very first hole, one of our hosts, Maz, this guy Paul, who's awesome, who's a stick and played really well, hit, I believe, a 56-degree wedge into the green. It landed probably 10 or 15 yards short, hit really well, so it had a little bit of like check on it. Pin was like middle left, and it took probably 15 or 20 seconds, and the ball rolled all the way over the green, and he made a bogey. And it just, for the whole rest of the day, set the tone of like, oh, we're in for what they, like the classic Oakmont, conversation and all the stereotypes. And it was insanely fun, but it was also just like, you just knew at certain points there's no way. Like when you hit a lag putt, the line is so thin that if you're a little bit short on it, like the slope just takes it and you're not even close. And if you're 2 inches too far on your pace, it just goes past the hole and is gone like on the other side of the slope. It was unreal how fast they were, but they weren't dead. Like you would think when the greens are that fast, the greens have to be dead. Like 17 is not even a real number. I texted that back to the guy after he told me that in the morning. I was like, yeah, that's not a real number. He's like, no, they're literally stepping at 17. And it was absolute crazy time.
So
Lurch is joined the show.
The guys that play there, in these SWAT matches, are they used to that, or were you the only one that like couldn't handle that?
Nobody could handle it. It's just not handleable. Like it's just not like, no. On the back nine, like the front nine, I played pretty poorly. The back nine, I hit 7 out of 9 greens and shot 4 over with 4 3-putts. Oof. And it was just like, and honestly, a couple of those 3-putts, the next putt, like, definitely wasn't good, but because you only need one low ball, it's like, let's just get the hell out of here. Yeah. So it was very cool. I got more, obviously, I'm like having to give a spiel and everything, but Lurch has joined with a bunch of Bruins jerseys behind him. I believe he's a Rangers fan, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, huge Rangers guy. But, yeah, I'm up in Cape Cod for a sales manager's offsite. So an incredible amount of whiteboarding and discussion and strategy going on in here. But, yeah, so anyways, up here, 17 feels like a fake number. My question to you is, did you have fun?
Yeah, it was legitimately one of the more fun and enjoyable rounds I've ever had because it was a 7-sim. So we played as 7. We played with these guys, Murph and Paul, who are kind of like, I believe, the chair and the vice chair of the SWAT game. And these guys are so deep in the Oakmont history and what it means to be part of the SWAT game that they spent 45 minutes afterwards. They go up into like this little special room. They spend 45 minutes afterwards combing through all of the results and all of the scores on each hole and then figuring out, there had to be, I'm going to call it like 24 different groups, and each group is playing a match against the other 23, and it's a Nassau. So it's like front, back, overall, and they have to figure out how all the money gets dispersed and who won how many ways against each team. Jeez. And so they're so into it that they afterwards go up and spend almost an hour before dinner doing that. And then Murph's son, Brett, played with us. This guy, Dave, this other guy, Gary, who was laugh out loud funny with a Pittsburgh accent. And then another guy, Brian, our caddy, Reed, was awesome. And it's only one best ball, so it's cool because everybody's on the same team. So, like, quickly who's out of the hole and who's not. And when somebody makes, like, a 10-footer for par to, like, keep the momentum going, the whole group went nuts. You think of Oakmont up there with the Wingfoots and the Shinnecocks and, like, Cypress, obviously with the Prestige. And we've been lucky to play a lot of these different places and talk about walking on eggshells. Oakmont has such a Pittsburgh mentality about it that it felt way, way more like a lunch pail type place, and the membership right away, it's like people were having beers. It was relaxed. I wore like sneakers and a sport coat during like the whole dinner afterwards, and it was very normal to do that. So right away it kind of disarms you that it's not maybe what you would think it is in terms of walking on eggshells. So within like a hole or two, it turned into an unbelievably fun day. The weather was like 71 degrees and sunny with almost no wind, and then the greens had that green shine to them that you wouldn't believe like how shiny they were. So you kind of accept early on that you're going to get dominated by the greens, but also that everybody is. And once you kind of let go at that point, it just turns into a really fun experience. So yeah, it was fun, but you have to, like, if you're genuinely trying to score well, you're going to have a miserable day.
Whose job is it to write in the leather-bound books?
Great question, because like the calligraphy, you mean, where you need to be...
It's like etching a name on the claret jug. Like, that's a very special job.
Did you know that's a part of like the PGA program? You know how all these PGA pros, they write up on those leaderboards and it's always perfect with like it almost looks like Old English. That's like a part of their program.
Really?
To like write those G's like with all this like lines going through them and shit.
Yeah, and their 3 has like a little tail on it and stuff at the top and at the bottom. That's like they literally, I believe, have to pass part of their PGA course is to be able to write that way.
It's pretty interesting.
I like that.
Yeah, so I would assume like whoever does it in the book, you're right. Like you can't be like a doctor, like you can't be chicken scratch in this fucking book. Everyone's gonna be like, you're out, dude.
Huh. I'd be terrible at that. I'd fail.
Yeah, me too. I have really bad handwriting. Really bad. I'm sure people probably assume that about me anyway, but I have really bad handwriting.
Grab a pencil, just like
caveman style. That's bad.
I would say I have bad handwriting, but I take a scorecard penmanship very seriously.
You do. Off the chart, seriously. Like when I do it, you get so frustrated because I'll like erase one thing or just miss a hole. Yeah.
It's a nightmare whenever you do it. It's like numbers are different sizes. You can't like leak it into the other box card, and
you make a hole in one. Why do you take it so seriously? Like I get if you make a hole in one, it'd be awesome to have a beautifully clean scorecard, but why?
Dude, I think it's because I just used to look forward to like the weekend rounds of golf so much that I thought the scorecard was like the record of that, and it was really important to be able to like look and clearly understand exactly what happened because we like talk about it at the bar afterwards. So I think it came from that, and then ever since, like when I write normally, it's a disaster and it's fast and you're just trying to get through it. I'm always on the scorecard. Like I take my sweet time and get those numbers. I try to keep everything the right size. I don't know. Maybe I'm just OCD psychopath, but I always take it pretty.
I think it's the latter. I do the I do my scorecards just like I did my notebooks in high school or middle school, elementary school. When you got that new marble notebook, you opened it up, you put the date perfectly in the top right corner, like day 1 in the top left, and it would be like, and you would actually indent whenever the teacher would say a new subject and a new topic. You'd write these fucking things. I felt like I was
Day 3.
Oh my God, it was perfect. And then it's like day 4, you're literally just drawing cocks and boobs on the like you don't know what's happening inside that notebook. It's an absolute nightmare. Same thing with my scorecard. First names, like it's Frank, Trent, Sam. It's like everything's perfect. Like the first bogey has like a square around it, and then I don't even keep score by 15. It's just a nightmare. So
True. You make like a birdie on 2 and par 1. You like circle it. You're like, oh nice. And then you go like bogey, you might square that, you're like still even par, and then you just make triple, and the whole thing's just a win.
Imagine being so cocky with like how you think you're gonna play that day that like you square the first bogey, thinking you're not gonna have a whole entire scorecard filled with squares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you play my game, you can't be squaring and circling anything. It's just numbers. Like I don't play a good enough game, or else the whole thing's a box.
Right. No, at our level, I would not put boxes. No way.
I think it's common practice to just circle birdies and that's it, right?
What level of golf do you have to be at where you can start doing the squares? Is it like sub 5 handicap?
I think you got to be, or just making less than like 5 bogeys around. You know what I mean? Like it has to be.
Is it scratch? You have to be a scratch golfer to start incorporating squares for bogeys. Like bogeys are so like few and far between that you have to actually put a shape around.
You have to note that oh wow, that happened.
You have to note that a bogey happened.
It's also a square is a nightmare on a scorecard because it's the same shape as the box, so you have to like make sure it's smaller. Whereas circle, you can kind of dip into the other boxes and the other holes, doesn't really matter. A square, it's like got to be tight and it's just a pain in the ass. And then if you double, you got to do double square, which we double all the time. So now the whole thing is just.
I think you got to be a scratch golfer to be able to use shapes.
Well, do you circle birdies even now?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't get them almost
Hole in
ever,
one is 2 circles?
Oh, yeah.
That's nice.
A 1 with 2 circles?
Wouldn't that be nice?
I think that's I think if you are like a 10 to 20 handicap and you're squaring your bogeys, I think you need to reevaluate the way you do things.
It's just it's just assumed.
Yeah.
Like we know.
You just like to color then. Like you like just like coloring in the boxes on your fucking scorecard.
You also just like think about how much of your life you're wasting now writing shapes that don't matter. It's like that's just taking
Just do
forever.
one big rectangle, dude. You know, it's just go from 1
cover
to 18.
the whole thing.
Yeah. Shade it in.
Barstool golf time. We're talking a lot about golf right now, getting out and playing golf, having a good time playing golf. You can, review your scorecards and write circles and squares, and that's a great time. You can also review golf courses. That's a huge feature of our app, the Barstool Golf Time app. And then when you do review courses, if you leave a video review, you get bonus points, you get rewards. You can use those for merch, which we just had new merch drop from Unreal. Shout out to them. But the Barstool Golf Time app, it lists thousands and thousands and thousands of courses. It's got great tee time deals, and it's got reviews from folks just like you. They write, legitimate reviews from when they play. What were the greens like? What were the tee boxes like? What was the staff like? What conditions the place in? How they like the layout? And then they submit pictures, they submit videos, and you have a much better idea of what you're getting into before you book a tee time.
It's a fantastic app. Speaking of Unreal, UNRL, I believe their founder, or it's like their CEO, his name is Michael Jordan. So I want to transition that into obviously Ben Lurch Severance, doing what I would say is one of the more unreal fake life experiences you can have on this earth. It's something that when we're sitting at a bar and you're like, oh, you have like a foursome to play golf with, or like you can pick 3 guys to get lunch with. You did this with someone that I would say globally is answered, like 90% of the time among sports fans. Like when you're asking sports fans, who do you want to have lunch with? This guy is one of them. His name is Michael Jordan. So shout out to the guy from UNRL, Unreal. The guy from Unreal signs his like text like MJ, which I don't know if you're allowed to do that. If like we get what you're doing there. I mean, your name's Michael Jordan. You almost have to change your name.
Like Michael B. Jordan, put the B in there.
Right.
The actor. So people weren't like,
I also don't know if you're allowed to call yourself MJ. Cause like,
no.
And I like this guy. This guy's unbelievable. I mean, he's like Unreal's clothing are unreal, but
unless you want people to be disappointed when they officially meet you, like that's the only reason. Like you're trying to get something upon signature, and so you're like, oh, I'll bluff this because everybody's honestly hoping that they'll meet them. And then when they're just so let down, but they've already like approved your table or approved whatever. So they're like, all right, you can have it. But
dude, you also like at the Barstool Classic, I was with the Islanders. Like, so we did the Islander one at Minnesota, and they're like, dude, Michael Jordan's playing behind us.
Yeah.
It was like on the list.
That's what I was gonna say. You
like, holy fuck,
dude! If he goes that route, he like can't be referenced by others in a normal fashion. People can't say we're going on this trip. I heard MJ's coming. Like,
no, you can't. You got to be called Mikey Jordan or something. We got to talk to him. He's a great guy.
Right, that's what Michael B. Jordan knew, that he was going to get famous enough where his name was going to be on like award show lists and all this stuff, and it would say Michael Jordan, and people would be like, "Holy fuck, Michael Jordan's going to be here." B. Instead, he's like, "No, I'm going to be Michael B. Jordan," so people know that it's the actor, not the basketball player.
That new apparel company, like I heard Michael Jordan owns it. Like,
actually, that could work because when you said Michael Jordan from Unreal, I just figured that he started that company.
Oh, maybe he's doing something right then.
It at least perks people's ears up.
We know he's doing something right because the clothing's unreal. But I just thought that was funny because I remember he texted me about one of their new drops and he just signed it MJ. I was like, well, that's actually pretty cool.
That's so ballsy.
It's so ballsy though.
I think Riggs's call out is even crazier. If you're just a friend of this like MJ that's not truly MJ, and you're like, hey guys, like MJ's coming, like the person that's doing that is absolutely insane. Like if Riggs tells us, oh yeah, like MJ's coming, it's like MJ's not even officially announcing himself as MJ, whoever this like kind of Michael Jordan is. It's that like friend of a friend. That's it's
like your name being
but like now
like you just can't you can't have that name.
No, that's a name.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The guy has handcuffed everyone. Like he can't. Your buddies have to say, hey, MJ, parentheses, like not the famous one, end parentheses, is coming. Otherwise, how can they reference you in any setting?
I think you just have to call them Michael. Like Michael's coming, and then nobody thinks about it. Yeah, Mike. Okay, cool. Like
there was some interview about people like their names were just Donald Trump, and like they were getting like they weren't allowed to like do like they weren't allowed to have like reservations at dinner. Like people were like canceling their shit, or like it was like the guy's like I'm just a Wyoming. Like I'm just my name's Don Trump. I don't know. I'm trying to go to dinner.
That'll happen. That'll happen to people on Twitter sometimes, where they'll have the name of someone that did something stupid at like a sporting event, and they'll have to come out and be like, I'm not this guy that you're mad at. So like everybody leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. There's a Ravens announcer, and his name's Jerry Sandusky.
Yeah,
tough.
Really
tough.
That's way worse.
That guy.
Yep.
Way worse.
Yup.
That's bad.
That got dark, Jake. That got real dark.
It's similar to what we're talking about, though.
But I think you could have
to another level.
You could use any name in the world. You could use any name in the world. There's probably a double. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could have made any reference there. He went Sandusky.
That guy also like
it was relevant. It was relevant.
They called like, oh, on the call tonight, Jerry Sandusky. That's what they say. That's tough.
You gotta change.
Also, every time that guy introduces himself to anyone ever, it's a scene. It's got to be a total scene. Like, what's up? I'm Jerry Sandusky. And they're like, is there
and a lot of people probably don't necessarily know what the guy looks like, so they're like, what's happening right now?
Or they'd be like, is this a bit? Like, what is there like a punchline coming?
Right.
Like, no, I'm just
Jerry. Everybody on this podcast is just rooting for all the other Ben Severances out there, the Sam Buzon. Like that, you just have to root for your own ilk. Like I'm just rooting that they do good things because one Ben Severance goes down, and my life's ruined if they do something horrible.
I think there was a Frank Borelli in The Sopranos. He was an extra. So when I was growing up, you typed in Frank Borelli, and it was like guest starring Frankie Borelli or something like that. So that guy did well. He was a little chubby guy on The Sopranos. So, there he is. Yeah,
there is.
There he is.
Frank. He's even got his own wiki.
Yeah, he's got his own
Frank
wiki.
Borelli is an American actor. He portrayed Vito Spatafore Jr. in a recurring role on The Sopranos.
There you go.
There he is, dude.
Yep,
wow.
there he is.
He's in like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yep, Vito Spatafore.
I'm about to start The Sopranos from the beginning. By the way,
I'm jealous.
I watched it because it's like culture. It's my family thing. Like everyone, my parents watched The Sopranos, and I liked it, but I was too young. I think obviously when it was really going, like really young. So I'm rewatching it as well. It's a fucking great show. I will say there's a lot of it where like you could kind of be on your phone for it, right? Like with a lot of those shows, those multi-season dragged out where like a whole episode's about like, I don't know, they're like going out to find somebody or something and they're in the car driving. Like I'm not like so hooked in. Like every episode of Breaking Bad, I had to know every fucking thing they were talking about. Every line felt important. So about The Sopranos, it's more of like a culture show where it's like you don't need to know everything that's going on. Do you agree with that?
I haven't watched it in a long time. I watched it when it was airing, like certainly the last couple seasons. That was before Twitter and Instagram were a big thing. So I remember being clued into the whole thing, and I haven't watched it recently, so I don't know.
Any rewatch, though, I feel like you can do a little bit more phony.
I watched a little bit of it in real time, so but not all of it. Like I wasn't all in. I was young. It was whatever. So I think it's going to be kind of a half rewatch, half first watch. So I'm pretty excited about it. But anyways,
I was just looking that up. 2007 it ended.
Yeah, I was only 14.
I walked time.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Barstool. This is still going. No, are we?
Well, I think we only mentioned it for about 15 seconds.
Oh,
and we wow. Talk about Unreal.
Let's do a whole new Barstool Golf Time read right here. Let's let the people know what's going on with Barstool Golf Time.
Yeah, so make sure you download that app. You get rewards. You can use those rewards to get discounted merch. You leave reviews. You book tee times. The more tee times you book, more rewards. The more reviews that you leave, more rewards. The more video reviews you leave, more and more rewards. And then you use those rewards to get all kinds of cool stuff, including discounted merch, which is how we got on the Unreal Michael Jordan stuff. So go check out the app. Okay. Speaking of Michael Jordan, I will wrap up my Oakmont stuff after because we only have Lurch for a short period of time.
More whiteboard.
I will say there's a lot going on here. We'll let you sort of intro it, Lurch, because
before you speak
there's
about
a video on Twitter right now too that Colt Nose put out there that's very funny.
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
No, so
do you want to talk about my surgery real quick or no? Because I think that was more important. Did you want to say anything about? I got a whole wrap. It goes up to my shoulder.
I would love to see it, actually.
Okay, see it. I can't.
Doesn't look that bad. Is that a soft wrap?
It's a soft wrap. I could take it off if I wanted to, but I wanted to milk it.
Talk to us about Michael Jordan.
All right, go ahead. Let's hear it.
So, yeah, I mean, lucky enough. So Colt Most is friends with Josh Isner, and he's the big Boston fan behind me. I'm actually in his office. He's the sales leader over at Axon. We're here basically strategizing for the next year. But anyways, there was an impromptu golf trip that I was invited to meet them down in Florida. Lucky enough to play Jordan's course, the Grove. And Colt Nost is friends with Michael. It's just honestly crazy. He's very connected in and outside the golf world, obviously played on the PGA Tour and now – very much kind of on the media broadcasting side, but has a crazy network. So lucky enough to play it. It's just an incredible golf experience. It's incredibly private. They want to keep it that way. But Colton, he was like, hey, we might meet Michael. He might come up here for lunch. And that was on the 16th hole. And I was like, are you kidding me? What? And so lo and behold, it was confirmed on the 17th. I think I went triple on the way in. Just couldn't even think about it because all I was thinking about was Jordan was in that building, and it wasn't the United Center where you were going to go watch him play and pay $250 to see him shoot a basketball. It was that guy's just in that building walking around. That's empty.
Waiting for you guys.
So we go up onto the porch, and he's just there, and so. Yeah, we had lunch together. Couldn't have been nicer. Couldn't have been, honestly, just more humble and just a regular guy, and spent 45 minutes to an hour with us. We just sat and laughed and just enjoyed the time. We shared a laugh together. So Colt is he just jaws you the whole time. He's like, yeah, you're coming into my world. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a golfer. I stink. He's like, yeah, this is my world. He's just jawing at you the whole time. So. One moment I knew or at least I thought he didn't have any siblings just on the way he acted. I thought he could use just a punch right in the nose based on how he continues to talk. And so I told Jordan this. I was like, yeah, I'm the 16th or whatever. I was like, Colt, do you have any brothers? And he was like, no. I was like, well, you needed one just to get beat up as a little kid and wrestle around. And Jordan laughed at that for he actually had an audible. And so the coolest thing that I'll ever do in this life, without question. And Colt was like, yeah, he'll never remember you. And I'm like, that's totally fine. Like, there was no expectation that Michael Jordan was ever going to remember the name Ben Sevens. Like, if he remembers that we had lunch together today, and this was literally 2 days ago, like that he had lunch at the Grove and there was other people there, that's a total win for me. Yeah, I mean, it was above and beyond. And then people were like commenting that, like, because I was trying to play it cool as everybody does, and then I put my hand like behind his back, and at that point I was like, I'm touching like Michael, like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy is the coolest person in the world. And I thought going into it, I was like, yeah, he's MJ. He's the coolest, silkiest guy you've ever seen play athletics. And when I left there, I was like, he's 10 times cooler than I like ever would have imagined, just on his aura and the way he owns it. So super lucky to be out there. Yeah. And just, you know, it's outrageous. I'm like speechless, honestly, about it.
Who had the balls to be like, hey, can we get a picture?
I was the beta. It was like disgust. And I was just like, I'm low, man. I'm a totem pole here. Like, because Colt was like, you know, as soon as you ask that, he looks at you as like a child, not like as a fanboy, not as like an equal. And yeah. I was like, okay.
You're never getting that again. Yeah.
Right. So, you're not an equal.
You're not.
Great point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it actually goes to your other point of he's not going to remember it anyway.
Right.
He doesn't remember he took a picture with you.
No
idea.
Point. Great point. So anyways, yeah, I was like, hey, Michael, like, sorry to do this. Like, any way we could get a picture. And I was with Todd Martin, Isner, and then Colt. And like, they weren't standing up right away. I was like, all you guys want to stand up and be in this photo. So just like hop in. Like, don't be idiots about this thing. So yeah, I mean, incredible golf experience. That place is outrageous. And they want it that way, and they work really hard to make it that way. And then seeing Michael was just like, you know, the boy in me. I was just like, oh my God.
I mean, does Colt Nose think that he's an equal to fucking Michael Jordan?
I don't know what he thinks, honestly, but I doubt it.
This story's making me
anybody in the right
think
mind
things about Colt. I don't mean, what the fuck is happening in this story? I mean,
I think, but like, they have each other's numbers. You know what I mean? Like, where he's a person on his like Rolodex of people, where I'm like a fictional character.
He's
you
still
know what
Michael
I mean? Like,
Jordan,
I don't
dude.
even know what you call him.
There's that level where, like, I still think even JT gets that tingling in his fucking dick when Tiger Woods texts him. You know what I mean? Like, there's that level
100%.
of no matter how close you are, I don't care how many messages you exchange with the guy. There's three people that it's like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, maybe Tom Brady, maybe, I don't know. But Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan, it's not even close.
Those
like,
are the
say,
two.
like, no, like what you're saying, like, you guys want to get up and get in this picture. I mean, this guy's not real. Like, it's not a real person. Like, why don't we capture this photo before he vanishes?
Yeah, buddy. Anyone here,
mythical.
we're jumping in that. I mean, you're jumping in. You don't care. I could see though, Colt, like, if he's the one that, you know, clearly like knows MJ to a degree, I feel like it'd be equivalent to, like, there's certain times, Frankie, if you're out with like the Islanders, you don't make like content out of it. You're not looking to take pictures. You're like protecting,
They're not Michael Jordan is my point. Like, there's just two guys that you can't. All rules go out the window. I think, you know what I mean.
And I think as like childhood like idols, it's totally different. Like, the way I look at the Rangers today and the Rangers of like 1994 and Mike Richter and like Mark Messier are totally different. You know, it's just it's a way different vantage point.
No, I'm not saying you don't look at them differently. I'm saying if you're in Colt's shoes, like, you're like, would I rather jump in one picture? Would I rather be able to like continue to like get lunch with Michael Jordan like forever?
Right.
And Colt like, because the producers like chopped everybody out and then just had me and Michael, so it looked even more preposterous than it truly was. And Colt was like, dude, I set all this up, and then you just like, you're just not, you don't even. And I was like, no, I mean, like, that's just, it's a joke because of how different. I'm a salesman. I sell technology, and I'm like,
all-time move from our social guys. All-time move.
Really
they just
good.
cut everyone out except Lurch and Michael Jordan. So it's amazing.
Right. So yeah, it was some kind of weekend.
I gasped when I saw the cutout. I couldn't believe. Like, they cut out Todd Martin, who's like Peter Millar. I mean, it's just we love Todd Martin. Like,
Folks, look at the pullover I'm wearing right now. It's quite nice.
Beauty.
It's quite cozy. Very classy. Looks great with literally anything. That's from Peter Millar. You can go to petermillar.com/foreplay. Check out the Crown Sport outerwear and the full range of Peter Millar apparel that they've got. You've seen us in our videos, especially like when we're at band and those videos coming out, all the different gear that everybody was rocking, from hoodies to pullovers to other outerwear. And we talk a lot about their polos, which are great. We talk a lot about their pants, the EB66 5-pocket pants, which are my favorite pants I've ever had. So good that my brother, it's the only thing he ever asked for Christmas. But their outerwear and apparel, it's fall golf, all right? Trees are turning. I'm seeing colors out there from these trees.
Yep.
You got to have, you got to go to petermillar.com/foreplay. You got to check out the stuff that we love, their Crown Sport line. Nobody makes layering options better than Peter Millar, and it's not even close.
Discovering the Peter Millar hoodie. What's it called?
Lava Wash.
Lava Wash.
Almost don't even want you to say it on this
I know.
ad
I actually now regret that because they're going to, I think they're sold out pretty much everywhere no matter what, but now that we're now saying it on our podcast, people are going to buy them even more.
They're sold out right now. That's how good they are.
We have trouble getting them.
We asked for Lava Wash hoodies. They said we'll see if we can get them like made in time to get, like, they're just so in demand right now. It's the best hoodie on the planet. It's soft. It's fucking mint. The way that it looks, the colors pop. It's this Lava Wash coloring scheme. Peter Millar just does it the right way. I mean, everything, like you're saying, layering. You look classy, but you also look like you can just go play a sport, which golf is. It's as good as it can get. I mean, it's when we were at the Ryder Cup, I was in the Peter Millar section, and I just put up a picture of just a generic Peter Millar gray quarter zip with just the yellow trophy from the Ryder Cup. And people were like, I don't know why this is the best. Because I wrote, this is the nicest thing I've ever seen. It's just pure class. And everyone's like, it's just a gray quarter zip with a little logo on it. And they all agreed, like, the classiest piece of clothing you've ever laid your eyes on. They just do it correctly. Minimalistic, and it's just clean and classy.
It's true. It's just true. I no matter what the scenario is, and you're playing golf, it's got the stretchiness, so it's not going to restrict you or hold you back. It's going to keep you warm when it gets chilly out there. You want to go on a date. You want to go out in town. Get Peter Millar. Gear up with Peter Millar. You can wear their stuff anywhere. And go check out our favorites at petermillar.com/foreplay. Get the full range of Peter Millar apparel.
It was great. And then, so we left there, and, like, it just got – so Colt's boys with, like, JT and these people. So we stopped by there for, like, a half second. And that's what the audio is going out right now of – I asked Bud Cauley, I was like, oh, like, what do you do? Because he was in street clothes, and I just didn't recognize him. And Colt heard that, and he was like, oh, you have a golf podcast. And I think he struggles. He's like, you guys don't know enough about golf, and, like, people listen to you. It's like, yes, that's correct. We don't know everything, and, like, we don't claim to. But anyways,
Colt,
I was
man.
like, oh,
it's part of our lore.
Colt, man, he had a fucking day.
Oh,
that guy,
dude, he was, yeah. I mean,
would Colt and I get along? Would Colt and I get along, or no?
Huh?
Would Colt and I get along, or am I too, like, high-strung crazy?
No, you'd get along with Colt for sure. Colt's
a good. He's a good dude. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's nonstop jawing. Like, he is looking to elevate himself all times.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually mostly on the side of defending you, Lurch. In
big
that
time.
This story that's going on, it is, like, insane that you guys are with, like, JT, Ricky, Bud Cauley at,
I haven't
like,
seen
Justin
this. Where is
Thomas's
this?
house, like,
Where is
hanging
this?
out. This just went out within, like, the last hour. It's from their PGA Tour XM radio that they do, that Colt and Drew and these guys do. And, like Lurch is saying, the story goes like that they're all hanging out at this place, and Lurch at one point just is chatting it up with Bud Cauley and is like, so, Bud, like, what do you do for work? And Colt overhears it and just starts laying in, being like, I told you these fucking idiots don't know what they're doing, right?
Yes, that's pretty close. But I was like, how do you know all these guys is actually the question that I asked.
Okay.
And then he was like, oh, actually, like, I played golf. Like, I played college golf. And so then I was like, oh, shit. And then I heard the name Bud, and it somewhat clicked, Bud Cauley. Like, I was like, okay. Because there was, like, I just spoke to another guy in the room that played college golf with him, that, like, made a run at it and played, like, kind of, like, tried to make it work for 5 or 6 years. And so I just, everybody's in street clothes. Like, it's different, and so anyway,
I would say,
like, it is what it is.
Like, so I would say the only thing is, like, contextually, I would say it's a tough question just because you're like, if you don't know, you almost don't want to potentially like embarrass somebody or yourself. And I equate it to like when we walk around PGA Tour events with media credentials, there are a lot of people walking around there that we have no idea who they are. They could be a player, they could be a caddy, they could be a manager, they could be a swing coach. We openly like chat with each other like, who was that walked by? And the other one will be like, I have no fucking clue. Thank God he didn't come over here because I don't know who he is. So I agree with that. And then I would also say like Bud Cauley, we've had him on the show. Otherwise, I don't know that I would know who Bud Cauley is. Like if he just was there. Now, again, contextually with like JT and Ricky, I don't know that I would just openly be like, what do you do? Because there's a decent chance that I should know who that person is. But I would say like on the average like man on the street test, I think most people probably wouldn't, who are like on our level of just golf fandom and being like in tune with the PGA Tour, which we've never claimed that we're like an in-the-depth PGA Tour podcast. I would defend you and be like, I think there's a lot of people that love golf that might not know who Bud Cauley is.
Totally. And like, you are right that I probably should have held that question, but like, we're all just people. Like he's a golfer, like, and like power to him. He's a very successful golfer and has had incredible success and kind of on the mend now. But like you put street clothes on anybody and you're going to be hard pressed to know like who beside maybe the top, the real like top 15, 20 players are of who they actually are. I mean, he was in a hat, t-shirt, and like maybe swim trunks, and just nothing, super unassuming, super regular. And that probably even speaks to him of just being like a regular guy and just like no ego behind it. And he actually answered it. He was like just very humble and like really nice about it. And we had like fun together in terms of our conversation. And then Colt was like, just like over there in the side, like in the room and then he starts like jawing at me again. But my defense is like, yeah, I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like maybe I should have held the question, but like, and I also don't assume to be this all-knowing golf guy. I mean, I barely can put together the swing. It's like, I like watching it. I'm amazed at what these guys can do. But this podcast is never about breaking down a swing. It's never about really the details at all. It's pretty general.
It's barely about golf.
The day we know who Bud Cauley is when he's in swim trunks, cancel the podcast. I mean, I'll be straight up about it. I don't give a fuck about, like, who cares? Like, we don't need to know this stuff. The Colt knows who's on Sirius XM PGA Tour radio. You better hope you fucking know everything about the game of golf because you're getting paid by the PGA Tour to talk about it. We're just a bunch of guys shooting the shit about the game of golf, the bare bones amount of golf that we know about to play. I don't even know how to play the game. I don't know anything about it. I constantly ask about the rules. We're just a bunch of guys that like the game. We like to go out, we like to have fun, and we like to shoot the shit. That's what this podcast is. I don't need to know who Bud Cauley is and all of his amateur level status and all the championships he's won in college. Like, that's not for me to know. I turn on CBS to listen to you say that, Colt. That's why you fucking get paid that shit.
100%. So anyway, I mean, I think like Colt's a good dude. He definitely loves the jaw, and like, he's going at me like, oh, you're fourth mic. I'm like, I know, I don't work at Barstool full time. I am certainly the fourth mic on this show. Like, just going back, but I think his dilemma, honestly, is that he is fundamentally amazed as like a golf guy, PGA Tour, everything, that like people listen to this as not like that because we don't know everything about golf. I think like that there's something in his brain that he fundamentally doesn't get about that. And to my point back to him, it's like there's actually more people out there that don't know shit about golf in terms of on your level.
90% of the fans that like golf don't know shit about like the depths of the PGA Tour. They're like, if the leaderboard is made up of Bud Cauleys on Sunday, none of them are tuning in to the golf. And that's not like, I think Bud Cauley would probably know that. Like, it's not like a big star power thing. People aren't grinding through like the amateur Alabama golf results to pick their favorite golfer and maybe follow them in the future. Our show actually does a good job of that because when we do have a Bud Cauley on or a Kevin Kisner on back in the day or whoever, they all of a sudden become a bigger part of the storyline for a lot of fans, and they have more reason to tune in for more guys than like the top 15 players in the world. But Frankie's 100% right. The minute that this show is breaking down all the details about the Bud Cauleys in the world and that we're scoffing it with people, we're going, ugh, if you don't know exactly who all of the Bud Cauley level players are in the world, then we're not foreplay and we're fucking done.
It makes me think that Colt knows, and he may be a great guy, and we're going to see him at the Dad Bod Classic. I'm going to have to exchange some words with this man. It makes me think he's had his eyes closed for his entire life about like what's going on in the world. Does he not know how Barstool became what Barstool Sports is? Like, Dave Portnoy did not do the X's and O's. Like, does he not understand, like, what media is today? Like, he really thinks he doesn't understand the reason why people listen to this show instead of, like, listening to the X's and O's of PGA Tour radio. I mean, check the charts. I mean, this is every category in sports, food, anything, football, part of my take. You think those guys break down the X's and O's about NFL Sundays? They're talking about, like, the most ridiculous shit of all time. They're not breaking down what you see.
Pizza reviews, you think it's talking about, like, the details of, like the cheese?
Colt, this is just, like, entertainment. It's just, like, the world. Does he not know what, like, this side of the world does? I don't know. Like, is he, like, dumb? I don't know what happened to him.
I think he's a good guy. And honestly, like, going back to, like, the people that were in that room, like, couldn't have been nicer, couldn't have been more humble, couldn't have been
What
more
happened in that room? Like, what explain
So Colt's buddy, you know, he's in this circle and, like, knows all these people and was nice and brought us along. And we ended up watching the Alabama game with them and had a couple beers and just, like, you know, sat around. And honestly, like, JT letting us in his house and just letting us chill there for a little bit was super nice. And they were, you know, super generous host. And I was just, like, kind of sitting there being a fly on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, what am I, you know, going to say? It's not like, you know, you're just a regular person hanging out with seemingly, even though they're the best players, best people in the world at what they do, they're super humble, super nice, and they were just relaxing on a Saturday watching college football. It's, like, pretty much what you would all do. So, yeah, I mean, can't say enough, like, about just the generosity of those guys. Just like, yeah, you guys can come over, you can chill. So, very cool, you know, and
that's awesome.
Again,
that's very cool.
It was a neat thing to do, and yeah, it's been a crazy weekend. So, yeah, look, it's a weekend that I'll never forget.
Colt's a huge Scottsdale guy, so I know Colt very well. He's around all the time. Like, if I need a dinner reservation at a sweet spot, like, I text Colt and he fucking hooks me up, or our boy Josh Isner, who also hooks it up, or Todd Martin, who are all on this fucking trip, who are great. But Colt is the man. Colt's also very plugged in, and his biggest angle against us is that, like, we're fucking idiots who don't know the ins and outs of golf. And he's absolutely right about that. What he's wrong about is that thinking that in any way matters. It does not matter.
Yeah,
correct. We are like 95% of people that love golf are exactly like us. They play the courses that we play. They play them like we play them. They struggle with the swing the same way that we struggle. The only people that are like Colt won the U.S. Amateur. Colt played on the PGA Tour. You know how many people that actually pick up a golf club are like Colt Knost? Fucking 0.01% of people like in the world that play golf. So I get that if you're really deep in the sauce, you could be like, how the fuck are these guys doing well when they don't have the experience or the know-withal that I have? But golf is a different sport, brother, where so many people play it that they have way more of an experience and a relationship to the game that we have. Whereas if you tune into, like, football coverage, and obviously, like, part of my take's a little bit different, but for the most part, if you tune into, like, football coverage, you want people that are fucking experts at football because you just watch football. You don't necessarily play it. What we benefit from is we play golf like everyone else plays golf all the time, and it allows our voice to resonate, make a lot more sense with people, and we watch golf similar to how other people watch golf. And Colt just he can't wrap his brain around that, and that's why he thinks that story is, like, the most damning thing of all time to Lurch, where it's like, I was even texting a couple other people. I'm like, I think 95% of people that watch golf probably would have been like, who the fuck is this guy when he walks
I want it on record, and I hope it gets back to Cole. I don't want to know who Bud Cauley is. Okay? I don't care about who Bud Cauley is. We went on a trip to Bandon Dunes. We talk about our golf experiences. Like you're saying, 0.0001% experience the things that happen on the PGA Tour. We watch CBS. We watch NBC. We watch all of these big events. We want you, Colt, to explain to us what's happening in the PGA Tour. We don't need to know everything to break it down. Those guys on the PGA Tour, we talked to, and the reason I bring up Bandon Dunes, we talked to, I think it was Scotty Scheffler at the Northern Trust, where it's like, you'll just never get to play these cool courses. What was this Scotty Scheffler?
It was, yeah.
Where it's like, you never get to experience like what real golfers in the world get to experience. You don't get to go to these golf resorts. You just play like TPC courses and just the PGA Tour schedule, and then you retire, and then you get to go to your country club back in Texas, and that's the rest of it. That's your golf life. Like, we are getting to do these things. Like, we get to go play public courses and resorts and different things. Like, we don't need to break down the X's and O's of Justin Thomas's wedge game and how many greens and regulations he's hit this year compared to last year. That's just not what we do. That's not what the real world of golf does. So I'm very glad that was brought up, because that made me feel good a little bit about what we're doing.
Yeah, like Breaking 100 is a perfect example.
It's just I brought that up. But anyway, it's just a different take on golf, right? Like,
what did he say about Breaking 100? Did he fucking shit on it?
No. I mean, I was just like,
the guy can't even break 100. He's on a golf podcast.
No,
I actually did. I shot 95.
I think that was just like a dinner we were talking about. I was like, yeah, it's just different. Like, Trent did this breaking one, and people were captivated by it because that's so real for so many people.
It's a large percentage of the golfing
Colt
population.
was like, I did that when I was 7.
So Colt's a +3, and he's all like, watching him play golf is actually pretty cool. I mean, like,
of course,
he's just dropping dimes all over the place, and you're like, holy hell, like, it's very cool to see the ball fly that way, but it's not realistic for many people. Like, it's not. So, anyways, it was a crazy.
He also makes everything. He's like he's a putter that just makes
pours
everything.
it in. And I had another putting weekend where it was just like, these 3-footers just can't go.
How did Isner keep up with Colt?
Isner's right there. You know, he was like low mid 70s, but he hasn't played like a month. So he was a little rusty. So Isner and I got beat pretty handily by Colt and TM. So, it was fun. It was an incredible week, like lifetime memories type stuff. And then capped off by that, I was at the Patriots game last night, not a Patriots guy at all, but Isner obviously is, as you look at, he's got the whole lineup of the Bruins. Chara, McAvoy, Burge in the middle, Marsh.
And he's not even a hockey fan. He just became a Bruins guy. I think a couple
he's
years ago when they
obsessed.
played the Blues to spite me. I think that's the only reason he became a Bruins fan.
He's sports obsessed. So, anyways, that was like, and I love saying this stuff because I feel like Trent is close to throwing up, but it was like a sales manager offsite, and so we all got tickets and went up to that game.
Yeah, I'll puke on my laptop right here. I'll do it.
So
I'll ruin this thing. I'll ruin this
Bleep
laptop.
that out. Bleep that
I
out.
can't wait for the Dad Bod Classic this year, because for people that don't know, Isner is the one that puts that on. So that all these guys are going to be there. Todd Martin will be there. Colt Knost will be there, which I'm very excited for. I'm looking forward to meeting him, because I think that I like his fire, man. I like that.
Oh, it's great.
At any moment, a debate and an argument can lash out, and that's my kind of guy. Like, I'm yelling at him. I've never met him. I'm like screaming at him.
We got to have him on. We got to have him on the show.
He has
we
to
would
come
all
on.
get into it with him. It'd be great.
Because
honestly, he talks so
he-
much that he would just go, and then you'd have to be like, all right, Colt, the show's open. Like he is nonstop. Like, he didn't shut up for the whole weekend. It's honestly a talent. He took a nap on the car ride home from a course one day, and that was like the 5 minutes of quiet. And then he woke up and he had like 3 different conversational points all within 5 seconds. Just like boom, 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 and he was right back to it. And it was like, what the hell is happening? So, yeah, he's nonstop energy. He'd be a great guest on the show.
I hope that at the Dad Bod, like, he never lets his guard up, where he consistently tells us that, like, he can't believe that we have like we never get through to him. I hope that he's like that kind of guy, where it's like no matter what we say, he's like, no, I don't believe you. Nothing you say makes any sense.
It would be great if we brought him on the show, talked about a bunch of different points, all had wildly different opinions, and then just parted ways, and that was it. Just like,
I think we bring him on the show. I think we bring him on the show and we talk about Frankie's elbow the whole time.
Right.
And we don't bring up golf one time.
And then we send him the iTunes charts and be like, oh, like this is like kind of what happens. Like, we didn't talk about one thing of golf. Like, you guys like had Justin Thomas on. It's like, we're just beat you. I don't know.
I apologize. I got to run because I got to catch a ferry actually to Nantucket. Believe it or not.
Okay, here we go. All
right.
You're just
what's happening?
We're
living quite
doing
the
a
life.
team dinner there tonight to talk again about sales strategy.
You guys can't do a team dinner at a fucking convention center in like New York. You're going to Manhattan. You're at the.
Well,
you just said you had a manager offsite at the Patriots game. Like what? Like what?
So I think
the biggest regular season game arguably in the world, like ever.
Say again.
Was that like the best regular season ticket to get?
Most
in
highly
NFL history?
anticipated. I
In
would
NFL
argue.
history?
Yeah, I would argue. I mean,
It
I don't
was
know.
off the
Aside
charts
from like a
popular.
play into a playoff game, like just first 9 weeks of a season, is that the best regular season football game ticket to get, like going into that game? All the anticipation, Right? The best player of all time coming back to play at Foxborough against his all-time fucking coach, and then you had a team outing at the 50-yard line, like what, 10 rows up?
Probably like 40 rows up or something like that. Yeah. It was perfect though, because you have vantage point on it. Like, it was outrageous. It was truly outrageous. Although if I don't leave now and miss the 3:45 ferry and then get fired, and then I'll be jobless. So.
Well, I'm glad you had a great weekend. I was floating on Oxycontin with my fucking elbow surgery, so we had a really
good time to be honest.
we had a pretty similar.
I'm so bummed I didn't get to hear that. Yeah, sorry about that, Frank. How are you feeling though?
I'm feeling fine. Get the fuck out of here.
Catch your boat.
Talk to you guys later.
See you, Lurch.
Jesus Christ.
CrossCountry Mortgage. Much like us at Barstool, they are a people-first group of people. Frankie's got his guy Chris. I believe his name is Chris. Is that correct?
Yes, the Devon Group in Massachusetts. So I guess you can have different types of groups under the CrossCountry Mortgage family. They are a CrossCountry Mortgage office, and they are working with me buying a house. I have gotten pre-approved already. The process was so easy. Thank you very much. The process was so easy, it's scary. I uploaded a bunch of screenshots off of my financial apps that I already had. Like, you thought getting approved for a loan for a house would be like, I got to go to the bank, I got to go to this, I got to go to that, I got to get papers. I literally went to these apps, I screenshot things, and I just put them in this very, very simple, like, upload document here. You click it and you just know exactly which one to do. A day later, approved.
I did picture you scurrying around town with a briefcase with papers flying out.
I need papers.
I'm trying to buy a house. How do I do it?
Get the papers.
I got papers everywhere.
It was as easy as it could be, and then Chris is now just on our team trying to find us. He's waiting for the day that we're like, hey, we like this house. This is the number. Can you send them over the pre-approval stuff? And he's just going to be on it. That's just like how this process is going to work. They are legitimately real people at a desk, like real workers, not just some call center where you're just a number and you're just like a stat line for like a Quicken Loans, all these massive call centers where they're going to just dump you off to just some fucking computer and you're just going to get a number. No, this is a person who has like a family and like a mortgage of his own, and he's trying to make sure that like his job is to get you inside a house. That's his job.
Rates are at an all-time low. May never get this low again, so make sure you get yourself a CrossCountry Mortgage Chris. Call today for a fast, free rate quote. Our partners will save you a lot of money. Call today, and our friends at CrossCountry Mortgage will give you a free home valuation. It's free to you just for calling. Go to crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool. You can learn more about your future home buying experience, or you can refinance your current mortgage and save thousands, maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars over the term of your loan. CrossCountry Mortgage, LLC, NMLS 3029, all loans subject to underwriting approval, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Reminder, go to crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool. To put a bow on the Oakmont stuff, we had a nice little injection from Lurch, but we had the whole round of golf. It was incredible. Like I said, it was unlike any experience I've ever had from a golf standpoint, with the greens being that fast and that good. The course is just phenomenal. It's the hardest course I've ever played, even without the greens being a 17. But then afterwards, it was probably 150 people in a room with sport coats on, and they gave me a microphone to speak to the Oakmont membership for 15 to 20 minutes. And just the way that they had told me before, it's like, yeah, you can tell funny stories for 20 minutes, right? In front of the group. And I was like, yeah, I think. And it's, you guys know, we're not stand-up comedians. We do a podcast and we go back and forth, and that's pretty much it. I will say, having done the Barstool Classic for a couple of years and just having a mic in your hand, I think helped a lot. And then the other thing I would equate it to is I think everyone here's done a best man speech. Is that right?
Yep.
I haven't.
You haven't, Frankie?
No.
I think Lurch has. But Trent, it was very similar to giving a best man speech, whereas the whole day was super fun. People in the middle of the day that I'm with are very much starting to celebrate, and they're just all in on the day, and they've got no stress. They're just there to have super fun time, and it's good and it's relaxing. And me, the whole time,
yep,
I'm kind of part of the fun, but also just looming over my head is at some point between 7 and 9 p.m., I have this insanely intimidating thing. And Jerry Seinfeld's joke and bit about how the number one fear that humans have is public speaking. I have to do that now later in front of a bunch of strangers. So that was looming over me from 7 a.m. when I woke up until 8 p.m. whenever I did the whole spiel, and it was very reminiscent of like a best man speech type feel.
Yeah, you want to drink a little bit to calm the nerves, but you don't want to get too drunk and then you're sloppy and then you're that guy. I remember when I gave my best man speech, they served dinner before all the speeches, and I didn't touch one part of the food. I was starving, but I couldn't eat because you're just wrapped up in the nerves. And I will say, you said you had to give a speech for 15, 20 minutes. My best man speech was 3 minutes maximum, and I felt like I was going to throw up all over myself. I was so nervous. But yeah, that feeling of waking up that morning, your head pops off the pillow, and you know at some point over the course of the next 24 hours, you have to speak in front of a large group of people, and people assume that you're going to be able to tell like a funny story, maybe make it a little emotional. Like they want you to have all these ranges that you're not even sure that you have, and you just worry about it all day long. So I'm actually curious to know how it went for you.
I think it went overall very well. I would give myself like a 7 out of 10.
That's all you need.
Which is, I thought anything above a 5 would have been really good. It was tricky, and then I didn't know what the crowd was going to be. Like, I didn't know if it was going to be 25 guys that are like our age and kind of a young crowd. I didn't know if it was going to be 150 guys. That was a wide range, which is exactly what it turned out to be. It was about like 150 people in the room, probably 100 to 120 Oakmont members that ranged from, young members to older members that have been there for a long time, and then probably like 30 or so of their guests. So it was like a wide range. And I kind of had... like obviously I'd prepare for it. You're not going to go up there like an asshole and have no clue. But it's also you don't want to read anything because it would come off as too formal and you're supposed to be like funny. So I kind of just storyboarded like 6 or 7 things and was like I can just go in those directions. And overall I think it went pretty well. Like I told the story about how I got hired with a couple like funny email exchanges back and forth with Dave. Then I told like what it's like working for Dave. I told the Ryder Cup email story from 2016, Trent, where he emailed us. Just like, hey guys, what's going on? Anything going on in the Ryder Cup? And then like a paragraph below that was all caps, like, wake the fuck up with like 15 exclamation points.
God, I forgot about that.
So funny because he like hates the Ryder Cup now.
I forgot about that, and that's bringing back nightmares.
That got a lot of good laughs. So like I kind of built up to that a little bit and told that story, and then told a few stories about like us and what it's like being out there, and then I told a Kisner story and a few things, and then next thing you know, it was like 15 minutes and you were kind of through it. So I think it went pretty well. I'm not going to give myself like a 10. I think they thought it went really well, but I would give myself like a 7 or so.
Yeah, I mean that's more than you can ask for, like you said. As long as you didn't go out there and puke on yourself, I think anything is a positive.
Right, as long as they're not going to remember it one way or the other, you're good. That's what life's all about.
That was pretty much the goal. And then Tom Coyne, who's a golf writer, he's written 4 different books. He wrote like a course called Ireland. He wrote a course called Scotland. He went up like before me, and he spoke clearly like in a very different way, but he did a great job of like talking about different courses, talking about kind of his story, and then people even Q&A'd him a little bit about different holes and different courses and how they kind of stack up. And then my guy Murph introduced me and was like, this is going to be very different. And it sort of freed me up to speak. I will say, like, they told me too, they're like, if you want to curse or anything, that's totally fine. And me and Frankie say the F word like every other word, basically. So that was a big part of it, that I was able to do that, because otherwise I don't know that I could be entertaining. Like, I wish I could be Nate Bargatze or like Jerry Seinfeld and not need that, but clearly I need that. So I was able to like kind of curse my way through it and just talk how I normally talk. And ultimately, I got through it. But it was incredibly nerve-wracking seeing like that type of membership. Luckily, like I said, they're all incredibly cool. Afterwards, I went into like the SWAT room with everybody, and there's just different conversations going on with different, like kind of cliques of people. And you're in this room, and there's pictures of like Jack and Arnie, and there's like a magician there that had thrown. He throws like throws and basically sticks cards into like the ceiling, and he has thrown. People sign it, and he sticks and throws. And the Arnold Palmer one is like stuck right up there in the middle, where Arnie signed this playing card that this magician then threw into the ceiling, and that guy's still there coming to the SWAT party every year. So like all these cool things were going on, and it was just a surreal time. It was unreal.
Wow.
Yeah, it almost sounds like an Eyes Wide Shut party.
Well, I would say Eyes Wide Shut is like a cult a little bit. I don't. Yeah. This was just kind of.
I think we would say that as well.
Just a golf club. I don't think it was like his cult. I guess my whole emphasis was that it wasn't like cult like you felt going.
Leather-bound books.
Leatherbound books, rooms, the name SWAT party. I think you were at a cult.
You're not seeing how
I think you got swindled by the
No,
cult.
I don't think you got swindled. I think you just might be involved now.
He's in the cult now. I can't.
I would love to be involved. If I could be in
big time.
If we're talking like if it really came down to would you want to be involved in this, I'm saying yes 100% of the time, no matter what that agreement entails.
100%. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying this sounds a little culty. I'm saying it sounds a little bit like you need to get a certain invitation. You got to walk in, like you got to look around. There's cliques. There's magicians throwing things into the ceiling. Felt very eyes wide shut.
You get they throw you to the fire. You got to give a speech.
We're gonna walk into the
initiation.
The SWAT room. When you said the SWAT room and that there was like circles of people talking, I'm like that. I pictured dimly lit red lighting and like meat being passed around.
Red meat.
Good. I'm glad that I'm
meat.
actually. I'm glad it kind of came off like that because it was. I do think things like that need to be almost above real life expectation. Like you can only fantasize about like what something like that might be because it's so foreign and interesting.
Well, I mean that is a fantasy.
You
did a fantasy. That was a that's a golf fantasy, right? Like we are just regular guys. We just got off the topic of talking about cult notes. Like not many people go to the SWAT room and have conversations with cliques and throw Arnold Palmer cards into the ceiling. That is a fantasy. That's a dream, like weird scenario, like that you're like a dream sequence. Everything you're looking around, you're at Oakmont, people are writing in leather-bound books. You're just like, what's happening?
Yeah, I agree. You're right. I just didn't want it to be negative connotations. I think
it's
cult-like in a positive way, in like a really cool golf obsessed guy way.
All those cool cults out there that you hear about.
A couple cool cults out there, like the one at Oakmont. They're fucking awesome.
I'm gonna piss my pants if I don't stand up right now.
What?
I'm gonna go piss. Why don't you
just do it,
dude? I actually wonder if I could, because I bet there's something.
Could.
I think it's harder than you're thinking. Because you have been not pissing your pants for a long time now.
No, it's
you
not
have a
that
mental
hard.
block.
It's not that hard. I was in a lake and I pissed.
I have to go right now.
It was essentially the same thing. I basically pissed my pants. I pissed my shorts, which I thought was weird when I was in the lake. I pissed my shorts, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's no problem."
That's also not the same thing.
It is.
Actually pissing your pants.
It is. It felt the same. Yes, it did. As he leaves, he's telling me it's not the same thing.
I think it's very common to piss your pants when you're in a lake.
But isn't it it's the same feeling of like forcing yourself to do something that you're not used to regarding pissing? Like he's saying that because you're not in the area that you usually are, meaning a toilet, that it's hard to like pull that trigger. I think it's hard to pull the trigger when you're in the lake. It's the same thing. It's like the same mechanism of being like, all right, release this piss as you stand around a bunch of people and act like you're not peeing. It's the same trigger. Yeah,
and I mean, we've all gotten stage fright even when you're in front of a toilet for similar reasons of like anytime you really need to relieve yourself, but you're not confident or you're really uncomfortable, for whatever reason you kind of clam up. And then I don't know that you can always get it out.
Big time. Happens to me at the airport all the time. There'll be a whole row of fucking urinals open. I go to the one all the way on the right, and then someone just comes, like, even if it's not the one right next to me, like the one like 2 away from me, it's just a weird feeling. You don't know who that person is. They're like looking around. You're just like, what's going on right now? I just want to take a piss.
Dude, one time we were in Minnesota. I think we were in Minnesota for the Final Four like 2 years ago. And I was out. We went to the bar after the show, or maybe on Saturday night. I was with like Dave and a few other people, and I had to go piss. And we're at like this dive bar. I had to go piss, and the line was incredibly long. Like there's just one bathroom. They only had like 2 urinals and then like one shitter. And so I'm in there in this line. Probably took like 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes to get through this line in a packed bar. Get up there, I got the worst stage fright you've ever seen, and people kind of like know a little bit who we are. So I was like, I cannot stand at this toilet forever because this whole line of people is going to get furious that this guy. So enough time went by that I had to just fake that I peed because it was better than dealing with like how much people were going to be pissed off that I had to stand in this line and ruin everybody's night. To the point where I had to go, and then I got back in line.
Oh, man.
And had to wait again. And I'll never forget, came back, and Dave and all them were like, dude, we just 100% thought you Irish exit. You've been gone for like 45 minutes. I was like, oh, yeah, I just like ran into somebody I knew. I had to go through this fucking line twice because I got such bad stage fright.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but you're saying that pissing in a lake is the same as me standing here and pissing my pants.
It's the same trigger of like
it's not.
It's of like, all right, it's time to pee in the place that we're not used to peeing. We have
because
you're pissing in your shorts. It's the same feeling.
No, it's not. You're shielded by the water.
See, like the shielding and people watching the piss in me is not what would stop me. It's the idea of like literally looking around and just peeing, just like I would in my pants. Like if I had to pee right now, I would be able to. It's that same release. It's that same
don't
trigger.
think so.
It's that same trigger. You got to just get beyond that trigger of being like you're no longer in front of a toilet or a urinal. You got to pee now. I don't know that it varies between water or not.
I think you would eventually be able to do it, but you wouldn't just be able to be like, oh, I'm going to pee right now. Like in the water, like I'm saying, you're shielded. People probably don't know. Even if you're telling them, it doesn't matter because you're not seeing the front of your pants fill up with piss. That is very different. If you were standing here and we told you to piss, I don't think you could do it within the first 5 minutes.
I'm not going to try, but I'm pretty confident I'd be able to piss my pants.
I think it's more difficult because I remember trying it with a buddy of mine. This was a long time ago now, but when you're just like,
I could piss my pants. I just
piss
close my eyes and think about a waterfall.
Weird that you think it's like impossible to piss.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that you have trained your body for however many years to not piss your pants.
Okay,
that's the goal, really.
Right.
And then when you're just going to try to do it, your body's going to be like, but we are not supposed to do this.
Which I think is the same as the lake.
It's not.
Okay.
Counterpoint, you told me you peed yourself because you were so drunk before.
That's different, though.
Yeah, that's different. You can't control you can't control your extremities when you get really drunk.
What's different than being not drunk and drunk? That's really the question.
You pissed yourself.
Right. Yeah, but that's different. That's like I'm saying if you are just sitting in this studio and you're saying do it. I think you would get it done, but I think it's more difficult than you're
definitely not as easy as just ripping it in a urinal or a toilet, but I think after a second of thought, I think I just pee my pants.
I think we should test it at some point.
Yeah, we should.
We should send this segment to Colt Nose.
Or just send the PMT them pissing themselves for the first 4 years of their podcast.
That's hard, though. You watch that video back. That's one of the funniest videos that Barstool's ever put out. They have difficulty doing it.
That, I think there was a lot of pressure on them because they tried to do it as a bit in the middle of this dude, they used to do it. They used to have pressure to actually have to try and pee. Like they didn't have the sensation of needing to pee. They used to chug water and like electrolytes prior to that part of the podcast. And then they'd be like, oh, fuck, I need to get a little bit out. I don't think it was like a stage fright thing. Maybe a little bit.
I think that's actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Maybe there's a little bit mixed in where
if I had to pee, I could pee my pants. It's a weird argument to say that I couldn't.
I think we should test it at some point because I don't think it's as easy as making it sound.
I would just end up peeing my pants and be a horrible fucking I got you.
Such a self-own.
Yeah, just
prove to us you could piss your pants.
Peeing
Frankie.
down my leg right now.
Do it.
I feel way better now that I'm back though. I feel like
piss your pants.
I think I wouldn't have been able to do it on command. I think it's harder.
Most guys have tried different ways to last longer, but thinking about Frankie's elbow is not always going to work.
It could work.
At Roman, an online men's health company, are changing.
It works for you because you just go lefty now.
Right.
That's how you last longer.
I'm lasting a long time right now.
You try not to last. You're doing everything you can to not last, and you just
Yep.
Roman.
The secret to longer lasting sex is Roman swipes. They are a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They are effective, they are easy to use, they are fast acting, but they do not require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipe's packet small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're easy to use. You just take the swipes out of the packet, you swipe them on, you let them dry, and you are good to go. That is it. Go to GetRoman.com/Fore. You get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That is GetRoman.com/Fore. First month of swipes, $5. Last long. Sex business. Lasts a long time when you're having sex. It's a no-brainer. GetRoman.com/Fore. First month of swipes for just $5. All right, we got a few things we got to actually talk about. Barstool Sportsbook. I got to shout out Kelly in Vegas. Maybe the hottest, handicapper in the world right now. She's giving out back-to-back weeks. Her massive parlay that she does has hit. On Saturday, she had Texas Tech, Nevada, and Kentucky all winning at plus 3,500, and it hit.
Yeah, I think. And then the week before, I'm pretty sure $200 bet cashed out for $16,000. Is that correct?
Oh my God!
Holy shit!
I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was
I know she's done it 2 weeks in a row where she gave out these crazy plus 1,000 odds, and then they've both hit.
I threw $100 on it. She made me $3,500. I just literally went to Barstool Sportsbook, clicked Barstool, bet with Barstool and the exclusives. Just was like, oh, that's interesting. That just seems like 3 teams that need to win. Cool. And then they just fucking won. So shout out to her. Like, she's a hero. She made me a bunch of money. She's been red hot, so you got to clearly focus and follow her.
2 weeks ago, she cashed a $200 3-team underdog money line parlay for $16K.
Oh, my God.
So people that rode Kelly in Vegas's fucking bets are up, I don't know, $20K right now if you made a couple $200 bets with her.
Jesus. And I'm sure she'll do it again this upcoming weekend, I would imagine.
All eyes on Kelly in Vegas.
All eyes on Kelly.
Dave Portnoy's eyes. Literally, his last tweet about her was just eye emojis. A bunch of them.
Yeah, right. I think you got to be paying attention to that. And then I woke up Saturday morning and I saw Sam Burns was 3 shots back, so I threw a little bit of money on him. And Sam Burns went out and won the tournament. I got him at plus 800, I think. So Barstool Sportsbook has just been responsibly, of course, delivering right now. And it's huge because it's live in Arizona, where I live. So thank God that they, got that thing going here. And then the Big Cat Can't Lose parlay, I think it was plus 275. That puppy hit as well. So just a good time to be alive on the Barstool Sportsbook.
Things are happening.
Last night they had a parlay in the Sunday Night Football game that absolutely was just disastrous ending. Tom Brady dropped just a dime of all dimes to Antonio Brown, and they had maybe it was a 6 or 7 leg parlay to cash in for, I think it was like $30,000 or something like that. And all they needed was an Antonio Brown touchdown. And boy, oh boy, did he almost fucking have it with like a minute. What was it, like 2 minutes to go?
Yeah, something like that. Should have had that one. Right in the bread basket.
He had it.
He did have it. It looked like he had it when he came down.
Yeah, so highs and lows of the Barstool Sportsbook. It's such a fun ride. It makes watching the games so much better. We're going to be in the Hoboken Barstool Sportsbook house for
tonight or tomorrow.
Tonight, when this podcast comes out, Trent. That's how this works. It's a little bit of time travel. I don't know if you've are caught up to speed about how the podcast works. Try to keep up. But I'll be in Hoboken tonight watching Yankees Red Sox playing game for the wild card.
I'll be there on Saturday watching Penn State, Iowa.
Yes, you will be.
Number 3 versus number 4.
With Jeff D. Lowe.
With Jeff D. Penn State.
Love Jeff D. Lowe.
Hey, he's a great guy.
What does the D stand for?
I don't ever want to know. I know that Glenny Balls accidentally saw Jeff D. Lowe's license one time and found out, and he said it ruined his day.
Fuck.
I never want to know. Ever.
You know what else could draw a crowd? A golfer with an arm growing out of his ass.
There we go.
We've been going for an hour and a half already?
There we go.
Hour and a half. Pretty good.
I gotta get some lunch.
Wow.
I'm starving. I'm starving.
I ate right before we got here.
I'm going to get Chipotle. I go to Chipotle a lot for lunch.
They just added brisket. I was thinking about trying that.
Really?
Ooh, yeah. I actually might try that.
Wow.
But my problem with that is then it changes the you go to Chipotle for a certain taste. Now all of a sudden you throw in brisket in there, it's no longer.
You talking about a Mexican taste? Is that what you're saying? I'm
just like I have my Chipotle taste. It's like what I put in it every single time. I never waver from my Chipotle order. You understand what I'm saying?
Let's hear it. The order.
It's half chicken, half steak over rice. I throw in some peppers and onions. I always say some, just a little bit. Let me get a little bit of peppers and onions. I throw sour cream in there. I toss a little. I see how I use all these. Is it verbs?
Yeah, toss.
Is toss?
Oh yeah, it's a verb.
It's a verb, right?
Toss a verb.
Right. So I'll do a toss. I'll sprinkle a little bit of
verb.
Yep, I do a lot of verbs with them because I think, and maybe people will agree with me. I think when you use verbs at these types of places, it's like how you explain how much of it you want.
I bet it changes nothing for them.
You don't think so?
No.
Can I get a little sprinkle of lettuce in there? Can you toss a little bit of lettuce in there?
It's like, all right, this asshole wants lettuce.
Right. I think, well, to me, it feels more comfortable if I use the verbs. So I do that. I throw in some
queso?
Some queso. Yep. Some guac on top. And my big thing is I get the guac on top. I make it a whole big, basically a nacho bowl. And then I'll get chips on the side. And after I'm done eating with a fork, or maybe while I'm eating with a fork, I'll throw a couple chips in there. Scoop it in, right? There's nothing better than that cheese, that sour cream, that steak, that chicken on a nice nacho chip.
Yeah.
You shove it in there with the crunch. But now...
Might be where that moon face comes from.
The moon face comes from all that, the sour cream in particular. My thing is now if I go to Chipotle and get brisket, now we're talking a whole new style of food. Now we're talking barbecue. I mean, come on. I don't know if I like that.
But if it's good, you're just adding a a good thing to your
It's just
repertoire.
a different vibe, man. I don't know if it mixes with the sour cream and the guac, and you know what I mean.
I will say when I
go with Chipotle.
Yeah, when I was back home, my mom went to a restaurant and she brought back brisket nachos, and they were divine.
Yeah, that's true.
They were
brisket
divine.
nachos are good. Ugh, brisket nachos are good.
They really were
Brisket
divine.
nachos, yeah.
They are good. Brisket nachos are good, man. Burnt end nachos I've had
woo.
before. Oh boy.
Couple things we got to cover. Bryson DeChambeau at the World Long Drive did incredibly well. He ended up getting into the Elite Eight, which is amazing. I think a lot of people thought he had no chance. These other guys only hit the golf ball a million miles. It's pretty much like their skill in golf, their profession. That's what they do. And Bryson plays in the PGA Tour, wins Ryder Cup matches, and then goes and also does the World Long Drive and finishes 8th and gets into the top 8. I thought that was fucking amazing.
I bet the World Long Drive participants that aren't named Bryson DeChambeau publicly love him and privately talk a lot of shit about him. Do you agree with that? Because
that's probably true on the PGA Tour too.
I think that's probably true as well. But for the longest time, the World Long Drive was like, these are guys who can't do anything else. They just hit the ball really far. And then people were like, yeah, we're always practicing long drive, so we can't work on our putting, we can't work on our chipping. And then here comes, what is Bryson, the 7th ranked player in the world? He's like, I'll just do it all, and I'll get into the Elite Eight, and he's probably going to win one of these things eventually.
Yep.
You know?
Kyle Berkshire, is that who won it?
He did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the GOAT of long driving.
He's got
right
the
now.
long hair, he swings
Looks
really
like
hard.
Caleb Presley.
He does, yeah.
He's in like the Chris Como, Bryson ring, right?
Yep.
They're always hitting in that room, screaming at each other, yelling at each other. Winning cures all, and we've seen that a lot in sports. And I told you guys on the 18th green at the Ryder Cup that like I'm gonna start liking Bryson DeChambeau. There's just something about this guy where it's like everything he does now, you look at it in a different light. Like I thought his videos this week of him hitting absolute bombs, the crowd going crazy, he's running back, screaming at the crowd, like that stuff was more likable than 2 weeks ago. Like prior to the Ryder Cup, you know what I mean? It's
I
just
agree.
Something's just different.
I thought it was
about him.
cool. I thought
like, if we
like
watched
his
that
whole
a
World
month
Long Drive
ago-
thing was great.
If we watched it a month ago, you'd be like, look at this fucking lunatic. This guy's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just something about the perception. The perception of Bryson DeChambeau has changed 100%. It's just he's a guy that cares about competing now, and he's not letting all these weird things get in his way. He's not going to be doing any weird interviews anymore. At least I hope he's not. He's not going to be saying anything that gets him in any trouble with other players. He's just going to be Bryson DeChambeau, showing up to driving ranges, hitting the balls over nets into cars.
He's definitely going to do all those things, but I think his stock is really high right now. I think
he's not going to do all
no
those
doubt
things.
about that. It's very much it's like soccer after the World Cup. Like everybody's raving about soccer in the United States of America. People go nuts, and then they're like, it's the future. And then 6, 10, 12 months later, nobody cares about the MLS. So I think that's what's happening with Bryson right now. His stock's really high. He's definitely going to do all those things that you said he's not anymore. But right now, his stock's fantastic. I thought he looked great at the World Long Drive. It was hard not to like it. The fact that he performed as well as he did was phenomenal.
Difference between like the MLS comparison is like Bryson can just be in the mix every single week. Like, you know? Like Bryson can just
Right, I think him
But
being in
that's
the
something that
mix,
can
it's
be a
like
negative,
he is
too.
who he is. That's the issue. Is like
It's
he's
always
going
going to come out who he is.
Yeah, but I've seen the light, and he's changed. He's completely changed. He's not going to do those things. Can't tell the future, Riggs, right?
Guy
That really got you in a
guy
fucking
hit an
bind last week.
guy hit an awesome drive on one on Sunday at the Ryder Cup, and I was there. You were there too. I fell in love with him again.
Yep.
But I feel like I'm seeing a little bit more realistically than you are that he is going to be in the mix week after week, and he's going to stumble. He's going to make a mistake.
That's not a good way to look at the world.
I'm the pessimist in this situation.
Which is scary.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm just saying that I do think I'm going to try my best to continue to be, pro Bryson, because I do think some of the things that he does is very interesting and cool. I don't know if I want to use the word cool there, but I do think he's going to do something that's going to screw it up.
Okay. Only time will tell.
You love Bryson.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, a lot of the stuff was carried around by media. We fell into the trap. Like, I hated him for no reason. I hated him just to hate him, just like the rest of the world did. And we piled on the guy, and now he proved his true colors. He showed his true colors at the Ryder Cup. He did everything that we thought he wasn't going to do. He just showed up. He was a team guy. He was an awesome guy for the team. Justin Thomas, on part of my take, was like, I don't think people are talking enough about like how like real they actually, like him and Brooks were just like talking at dinner,
right,
and like hanging out, like it's like with no cameras, like actually he was actually being really cool.
The cooling of the perceived beef that the two of them had is going to do wonders for Bryson's image.
Right.
Because that's where a lot of the anger and negativity was coming from, is because we're Team Brooks guys, and if Brooks doesn't like Bryson, then that's what we're going to do. Come to find out that Brooks doesn't really care either way. And him and Bryson can talk, and they can hug when egged on. Like, that stuff going away, that beef going away is the biggest thing that's going to help Bryson.
I just think we know everything about Bryson. Nothing's going to surprise us anymore. We know who he is. He is who he is. And like at this point, we've just accepted him, or at least some of us have accepted him. Like, he's not going to surprise us anymore with anything he does. Like, I was on him with the protractors and sprinkling the water on the driving range on the balls to check the dew and the circumference of the restitution of the restitution of the coefficient of the flag stick he was doing, the ROC.
I think it was coefficient of restitution. I figured COR.
So, like, all that stuff was stunning, and it was jarring, and you couldn't even handle it. Like, even him walking with the cleats behind Brooks and his eyes are closed. Like, we just know who Bryson is now. And without the stupid pettiness
You
beef
just don't think he's
Brooks,
going to walk with cleats anymore? Like,
but I think we're just accept that. My point is, like,
that's actually interesting.
He's like shown us who he is now. Like, he's gotten all of his weird, quirky shit. He
yelling at cameramen.
He's yelled at cameramen. He's kicked people out of fucking tournaments for calling him Brooksy. He's walked with the cleats. He's hit balls all over the place. Like, he's hit balls into without screaming for. We know who he is. He's just going to continue to do that stuff, and we're just going to accept him. Like, he's done shocking the world. You know what I mean?
You better hope that that's true.
Well, like, unless he comes out and like clobbers someone in the head, and we're just like, all right, like, Bryson's like a bad guy now. Like, I don't, like, obviously, I can't foresee that future. I just think that we are now accepting who Bryson is.
We've seen all the warts.
He's like the nerd that we've now accepted, who's like now one of the cool guys that like all the jocks like Brooks, like, they accept now. You know what? Like, maybe we were a little hard on you in high school, but you're actually a pretty cool guy.
But it is the flip side of that is you got to think that those things are going to keep coming.
They will. I just think that the stuff,
new things.
New things, right? But I genuinely think that we are just in a world where we're just going to accept Bryson DeChambeau for who he is. We're almost going to like want him to do this stuff. Winning cures everything.
The further we get away from the Ryder Cup, I think that that's going to dwindle and stuff's going to continue to happen. I think people are going to eventually get upset about it like they did in the past. That's my guess. Like him saying his driver sucks, him asking for relief from like fire ants, him telling the cameraman like you can only put stuff out that makes me look good. I think when that stuff gets 6 months, 12 months away from the Ryder Cup, that it's just going to add up, and we're going to be right back where we were. I don't think any of that stuff had anything to do with Brooks Koepka. That's my guess. We'll see. Who knows?
We'll see. Only time will tell.
Yep.
That's right. Can't predict the future. That's a fact.
Nope.
Caddy. So we had a couple very surprising announcements. Justin Thomas and his caddy Jimmy Johnson separating, and Jim Bones Mackay leaving TV. Who caddied for Phil Mickelson, obviously forever, leaving TV to take the full-time job on Justin Thomas's bag. Very, very surprising. I don't think anybody saw that coming. JT put out a statement himself in which he wrote in there, I 100% did not fire him, talking about Jimmy Johnson, that Jimmy came up to him at the Ryder Cup and said, that he thought it was about time to go their separate ways. So I don't know if anybody has any, big-time thoughts on this, but yeah, interesting news, I guess.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson, another name, like we said prior, like Michael Jordan, where if you think of it, you just think of the driver. When I saw,
Oh, I think of the Dallas Cowboys head football coach.
Yeah, that as well. For me, it's just the driver, Jimmy Johnson. I don't know.
See, that's got different levels to it.
It does have different levels.
Because there's two very, very famous guys who have that name.
Jimmy Johnson was a little bit before, like... Yeah.
He was before my time even.
Right.
Like when I was 4 or 5, that's when he was in Dallas.
Right.
But he's still on TV.
He is still on TV. It is weird that I went straight to the driver, but the driver is one of the more famous drivers of all time. Jimmy Johnson.
Who do you think's more famous?
The coach.
Okay. That's right.
I think of the driver first.
But the coach is definitely more famous.
I agree.
Although I don't know, NASCAR's pretty fucking big.
That's an interesting question. I think people are going to be very passionate either way on that.
In all the places that NASCAR is big, football is also massive.
True.
So I think Jimmy Johnson, the coach,
right.
trumps.
I think you're right.
Jimmy Johnson, the driver. You're not going to find a place where NASCAR is big and football is not equally as big.
Yeah, right. That'd be a very interesting pocket of the world.
The only person, like, there's only people that would know Jimmy Johnson, the coach, and not Jimmy Johnson, the driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised Bones left TV. I get it. And I get that, caddying is his blood and that's in his DNA. But he's so good at TV, and it seems like that's a much cushier job than being on Justin Thomas's bag. I was surprised, but also not surprised because, like I said, he wants to be a caddy, and Justin Thomas wants you to be his caddy. That's gonna be a pretty good gig for a long time, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I also noticed like they had Bones. Bones, I feel like, was doing everything. Like he's at all. It feels like every single tournament, doing television. He was at like the Solheim Cup, I believe, doing twos, and then he was at the Ryder Cup. It's like I feel like that was almost more demanding because I don't know that JT plays as many weeks, or when he does, I don't know that he has to be as like on in terms of like television person and all that.
Sure.
And even if it's similar, then I think he probably makes a lot more money being JT's caddy, right? Like I feel like he gets 10% of what JT makes. JT can make a lot of money, but I'm not sure. And then the other thing I would say is the third thing is like I think his passion is being in the heat of it. I agree. Fucking loves that. Like he is a golf nut. I think he loves playing golf. He loves being around golf. And I think the difference between being on TV and like describing a lie to somebody versus literally standing there with one of the best players in the world and describing and talking through what you think that lie is going to do to the golf ball, and then like having there be a real life consequence to that. I think he just likes to be. I mean, it's as close as he's going to get clearly to literally being in the ring, and I think he just likes that more than being in the booth.
Yeah, dude. JT made $6.5 million in 2021, and I know the numbers. We talk about the numbers a lot on this show. Like, how does it actually shake out? That's a shit ton of money for who's ever caddying for that person. With bonuses and shit, he's making like $1 million there, and that wasn't even one of JT's good years. Like people talk about this year for JT as like a shitty year for him. So right. I would imagine NBC's not paying him that type of money. Just my guess.
I don't think so. And even if they were, which I don't think they are, even if they were, then like if he actually likes doing the other thing better, then I think for him it's probably a no-brainer. And the other thing I would say is like I don't know that you get the opportunity very often. I mean, JT is a top 5, maybe top 3, I would guess, like future stock player.
Right, like when we had the conversation
on the next 20 years.
When we had the conversation on this show, who's going to dominate the next 5 years? JT was very involved in that conversation, and he's probably the odds-on favorite to be the best player over the next 5 years.
Right, so that bag opens up, and you're a guy that's been a perennial caddy, that caddy for Phil Mickelson, that loves golf and being in the heat of things as much as Bones does. I mean, and clearly it had to have happened pretty quickly because I feel like they announced that on like Wednesday, and the Ryder Cup finished up Sunday, and apparently Jimmy Johnson spoke to JT. So clearly in like a 2-day period, one or 2 day period, Bones made the decision. So it must have been a pretty easy decision, I guess, from his side. And
as good as like I think Bones is very good on TV, but he clearly thinks, but I'm also way better at being a caddy. Like, just because I think he's good on TV, he probably knows, like, yeah, I am decent at TV, but I know that I'm very good at being a caddy. So I bet the decision was pretty easy.
Yeah, I feel like being a caddy for him, too, is probably more natural, right? Like, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's clearly, and you're on and you're traveling a lot. But also, if you're doing work, like if for us, it's like speaking on this podcast and everything, it's a lot of, we do multiple podcasts a week, for several hours, we do prepare and all that, but, like, we feel like we're pretty naturally just good at this, so it's that comparing that to like if we had to do a different job that you don't necessarily think you're like naturally as good at, or it doesn't come as naturally or whatever, and you're doing that every week for the entire year, I imagine that factors in too. And ultimately he was like, yep, this is what I'm good at, caddying. He knows all the courses. They pretty much go back to a lot of the places every year. He's caddied for JT many times before. There's times where he like stepped away from TV or Jimmy Johnson couldn't do it, so there's a natural kind of clear chemistry and relationship there. So yeah, I expect big things from them, with Bones being one of the most accomplished caddies ever, and JT being one of the brightest stars in the PGA Tour. I imagine those two motherfuckers are going to win a lot of golf tournaments.
Yep, a lot of success for those two. I mean, JT, yeah, you're saying, you're hitching your wagon to one of the best horses in the world. So I mean, why would you not want to do that? And there you go, Colt Knost. There's going to be your new spot probably, where Bones is.
Oh yeah, I saw JT. JT gave him the stamp of approval. There you go.
Big time stamp. So, and right, that's like, we would never get that job, clearly. Colt Knost, perfect for that job.
Yep.
Really good.
And then Bubba Watson and Ted Scott split up. A little bit surprising. It's been 16 years. Obviously, Bubba won a couple Masters. He's won, 12, 13 times on the PGA Tour, somewhere around there. A little bit surprising that they would split up just because I know they were really good friends. Bubba's gone through all his talks with mental health and how uncomfortable he is in the spotlight, and I feel like Ted Scott helped him out a ton with that. My guess would be just that, I think Bubba's clearly in the back nine of his career. He was out at the Solheim Cup, as just kind of a supporter and fan and almost like pseudo assistant captain for the Solheim Cup. So again, it feels like he's putting a lot of priority and stock into stuff outside of necessarily his playing career. And if you're somebody like Ted Scott, I would be very surprised if Ted Scott doesn't pop up here recently that he's on a pretty big new golf bag going forward, because I think he is a golf nut as well. Every time I see him in a tournament, chat with him, you play? And he played 36 holes the day before, no matter what area he's in. When they were in New York, I think last year or 2 years ago, he was tweeting out, can anybody get me on one of the courses on Long Island? He's a golf nut. So I think he too, similar a little bit to Bones, I think he sees a long-term future caddying and wants to be on a really good bag. So maybe something opened up that he wasn't going to get another opportunity at, and therefore, he kind of had to say, Bubba, I don't know that you're fully into the playing career. Who knows? But my guess, this is all pure speculation. I'm going to guess it was something along those lines, because Bubba seems a little bit checked out, if we're being honest.
And 15 or 16 years, whatever it was, that's just a lot of time to be with anybody in any circumstance, in any context. Sometimes you just got to part ways. It doesn't have to be messy or as amicable as people are. It can be in the middle. 15, 16 years. It's just a long time to be together. And if you go with your separate ways, that's just the way that it is.
Amicable.
Is that the right word?
Yeah. Sounds right.
Amicable? I hope I said that right.
I like when you throw in new vocabulary.
You do some learning on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Amicable. I think I got that
Just
right.
got an email that we maybe did our 400th show. Does that sound right?
We did 300 a while back, I
so
guess.
that what Mikey said includes the trailer. So today is the 400th episode.
Oh.
What?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Happy 400, boys.
Don't people usually get balloons in this office when they do 100 shows?
I don't know.
We got nothing.
I don't want balloons.
I just found out as we were about to leave.
I actually would have rather found out the next show. Because now,
right at the beginning, maybe.
Just now, it feels like we're supposed to do something. I don't really care about milestones like that.
I like that stuff.
I know.
I would have enjoyed some sort of pastry.
Jake, can you get Frankie balloons in a cake or something? What do you like?
I'll use my Uber Eats cash through Barstool Sports to get you insomnia cookies.
Yeah, maybe a cookie.
There you go.
I do want to shout out. Maybe you guys can talk about something. I had a donut.
Maybe you guys talk amongst yourselves.
From Hoboken.
What are we gonna say while you're talking about your donut?
Right.
You're looking it up. I'll say this.
I gotta tell.
Apparently, we're the ninth. We've done the 9th most episodes of any podcast at Barstool Sports.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Those are just numbers that I don't think about. 9th most.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, we've been around a while now.
Dude, we've been around for 4.5 years.
Right.
And I think for your first 2 years, didn't you guys only do one episode a week?
I think that's right.
That's right.
I mean, the rundown's on this. The rundown happens daily. Pardon My Take 3 times a week. KFC Radio, they used to be daily.
I don't know, but those podcasts have been around for a long. KFC Radio's been around for a good amount of time. Rundown's been around forever now.
If you've listened to every show,
the Dog Walk, Kirk Minahan show are ahead of us. They do they do that all the time, right? Kirk does 3 or 4 episodes a week.
Yeah,
right.
Barstool Chicago puts all their podcasts on the Dog Walk feed, I believe.
Gotcha.
If you've listened to every episode, all 400, what's wrong with you? And then also, thank you.
Of course.
We're very happy that you've been on this journey with us. My goodness.
Big thank you.
That's
huge.
The ups and downs of this podcast, just the places it's gone, and I mean, go back and listen to the first one with you guys.
Don't do it.
Yuck.
Do not go listen to.
How bad was the first episode?
I don't know. Do you remember who we first interviewed?
You guys had an interview first episode?
Yeah.
Ali Schneider-Jans.
That's right.
No way.
That's right.
Dude, we couldn't get over his hair, and he just used hotel shampoo.
That is so funny. That's the thing that I remember about that interview too, because
I think that's the only thing we got out of it. I don't know if we could do anything else.
But it was good because we didn't want to be. Again, shout out to Colt Nost. We didn't want to be like, "How's your swing? Like, what's going on with it?" And instead, we were like, "We love that you don't wear a hat. Your hair looks great. What kind of shampoo do you use?" And he said, "Whatever's in the hotel." And we're like, "Awesome."
I can't find the name of that donut.
We actually said in that teaser, too, the first teaser that we put out, we said this is not a PGA Tour podcast. Thank God we said that because it's protected us a lot. Whenever people try to chirp us about knowing anything, we can be like, 4.5 years ago, we said it's not a PGA Tour podcast, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we knew. We know what we don't know.
We knew nothing at the time.
Not knowing what you don't know is a huge strength in life.
I know nothing.
Right.
I actually knew something. I have to give myself I just have to read an email that Seth Peeler sent us an email. There's a guy that's taken some serious L's in the golf world in the last week and a half. Mm-hmm. He sent me an email and said, not sure if Riggs already gotten the credit he deserves, but an episode Finding Phil Mickelson, which was in August 2019, Riggs states Phil will win a major in the next 5 years. And Phil, of course, went on to win the PGA. No clue I said that. I think we've documented many times on this show that we don't even remember what we talk about. But Seth was clearly listening to an old show, and I predicted something correct. So as dumb as we are, I have to credit myself so that I get a W because I need one. So thank you to me.
Yeah, we'll give you that one. You can have that.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that I probably agreed with you.
It's nice. Very nice. All right. And then a couple other things. Danny Willett wins the Dunhill Links. Danny Willett, I haven't heard his name in a really long time. He won it on his birthday. I think he was the first player on the PGA or the European Tour to win on his birthday since like 2004 or something. I saw that stat. Did it at the old course. The Dunhill Links is an incredibly cool tournament. They do Carnoustie, the old course of St. Andrews and Kingsbarns, and it's very cool. Unfortunately, especially I'm out in Arizona, they're like 8 hours ahead, so I missed the whole damn thing. But shout out to Danny Willett, still kicking out there. And then Stu Hagestad won the U.S. Mid-Amateur. We had him on the show a couple years ago, maybe, or a year ago.
Yeah.
That gets him back into the Masters, so he'll be playing at Augusta, which is fucking awesome for Stu. He's a good dude. He's a big listener of the show, so congrats to Stu Hagestad winning the U.S. Mid-Amateur for the second time. And then I just wanted to shout out Freddie Couples for having the most aesthetically pleasing golf swing in the history of the world, because a video of him is making the rounds right now of his swing over the last 50 years, and it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Obviously, we all know that.
Always.
No glove on Freddie.
The thing about it is
stunning.
You almost don't want to see Freddie swing until you've already been into the game for a few years, because if that's the first swing that you see, you're like, this game's cake. Everything about this game is so easy. You just swing so free and so flowy, and then you find out that it's a nightmare. Everything is a nightmare, and that he is the exception to the rule. That is the game of golf.
You think Stu Hagestad pisses other amateurs off?
Yeah, definitely.
Probably drives him fucking nuts. He's probably the most hated guy on the amateur circuit.
Well, I think, too, he has the means to basically be a professional golfer, it seems like, without really being a professional golfer. I think he gets to play and practice at really sweet places all the time, which is great. Credit to him or his family or whatever. That's awesome. That you shouldn't be shit on for that.
He's like a super
But I imagine he gets shit on for that a lot by other amateurs.
The way he looks, he shows up to these things, and these other guys that like you're saying, probably don't have the same access and means that he's able to. He just shows up, beats them, gets invited to all the best tournaments in the world. And, he's just laughs at them, essentially, being like, thanks for showing up, fellas. See you at the country club next week. It's like, no, you won't, actually. I'm just an amateur. I play at fucking Bethpage Black. I thought I had it this year, but you showed up again and you beat me. I don't know what to do. Dude, I laugh at it every time I see this guy holding up a trophy. He's like, he's invited to the fucking U.S. Open again. It's like, what the fuck is Stu doing?
Dude, he finishes low am, I feel like, at the U.S. Open all the time. He gets to play in the Masters. He plays in the Walker Cup all the time, which the Walker Cup, everybody's in college, and and then there's this 30-whatever-year-old guy out there who just cleans up and is winning matches in the Walker Cup. So yeah, I think he pisses a lot of amateurs off, which I love. I think that's great.
His name is John Stewart Hagestad III. It's just the name is a fucking super villain. He's a super villain, born in Newport Beach, California.
He's 30
years old. I mean, he's got probably one of the best jobs ever too. I think I read something. His whatever his title is at his real job is laugh out loud funny.
See if I can find it quickly.
It's great. I will say he beat This guy Costanza that he beat, shout out to George,
There's
32.
no way that's that guy's name.
A Morristown, New Jersey investment banker on the first stage of his honeymoon. So, like, he's not the only one out there that's clearly got a pretty good gig. Like, if you can make it, the mid-amateur too, right? Like, you got to be above, I think the age is 25. So, basically, they're eliminating all the young college fucking studs. So, then it's like, who's got the best life that also gets to play golf and become really good at it all the time? The tournament. That's pretty much what the tournament is.
Wow. He's in real estate, whatever he does.
Hell yeah.
Stu, he's in real estate.
He went to the University of Southern California Marshall School of Business. God, Stewart. Also, his name being John Stewart's hilarious.
A residential and management financial analyst.
Right. It's just like that guy. I mean, he just hits absolute pearls on the driving range every day. That's what he does. You know,
they're like, put him on the employee list so that we can just play golf with him and have him be one of our guys.
Exactly. He's got one of the best gigs in all of golf. Stu Hagestad. He gets to do everything. He gets to fucking do everything. He plays in the Masters. He plays in the U.S. Open. He wins trophies. And then he doesn't have to do any of the grind. He just gets to go work a regular job and probably not even do that. I mean, Stu Hagestad has it figured out, man. Hats off to him. Sorry to everyone else he just leaves in his fucking path. He's like a dynasty. He's a dynasty when it comes to like mid-am winning. Is he not? Like, he's just always in these tournaments. He's always in the U.S. Open and the Masters. Even though maybe he's not, maybe he's only done it once or twice. I don't know. I just feel like I've seen Stu Hagestad for the last 5 years every fucking year.
It's a name we hear a lot.
A lot. We see him. We saw him at Pebble Beach. He's carrying his own bag. He's like a cartoon character. He just shows up at the biggest events in golf, and they like somehow let him play. I just like don't get what happens. Stu Hagestad.
He's an amateur golf circuit supervillain. Absolutely, with everything about him.
We gotta talk to like who's his Phil Mickelson that like finishes runner up to him every single year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's the guy that
who's getting fucked the most by Stu Hagestad?
Who could have been Stu Hagestad all these years? You know,
that feels like a good underground documentary that we could make.
Who got fucked the most by Stu Hagestad?
Oh. There's definitely one guy that's like finished runner up to him like 3 times, like just the most down to earth blue collar dude of all time that just misses a putt on like 18. Like, Stu just laughs at him as he just taps in for the win. They just hand him like his little ticket to Augusta. God,
wow,
it's funny.
All right, boys, we got anything else in those brains over there?
No. Shout out to Dr. Brown, Dr. Bennett Brown. You know, a good man with great hands. Although we don't know yet. It's still early. Maybe he botched me up.
Seems like things are headed in the right way.
We'll see if I have a big scar. Maybe I'll get a nice tattoo there or something, you know?
Would you ever get a tattoo?
No.
No?
No.
Not even of the Borelli's logo?
The Borelli's logo guy is pretty sick.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not a tattoo guy.
No.
I don't know if nobody on this podcast is really a tattoo guy.
I'll say fucking Date Trent might be a tattoo guy.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. So it started Friday morning when I wore...
It started way before that. I took that picture of you with those like shady rays on that one time.
Oh,
I'm
true.
Like, you got to get rid of these fucking glasses.
I know. People will say,
wearing.
They say 2 things. They say get rid of the glasses or just update your glasses because my glasses look like they're from 1995.
They are from 1995.
Pretty much. But what happened was I wore a blue crew neck, a Pebble Beach Golf Links crew neck that I bought.
Sick.
I love it. And I walked
Really cool.
in on Friday morning, and 3 people, as soon as I walked in, said, "You look great today. You look amazing. What's different about you?" And I basically was like, well, I usually wear the same thing every day.
What color?
Which is a black crew neck and khakis. But when I put on color, you know, my eyes pop a little bit more and I look a little bit better. And then I went on Friday Night Pints, and that became a topic of discussion. And also on that Friday Night Pints episode was our guy Rude Boy, Rudy, who does the Stool Scenes camera. People know who he is. He is a cool, good-looking guy.
National champion at Denver hockey.
He's a hot guy. That's what he is.
Rudy's great. He's also, he's great.
He's awesome.
Does he still wear that shell necklace? Didn't he wear that for a while?
So a part of this is that he has recently started to accessorize, where he just starts throwing on different things. Like the necklace or a ring or whatever. And that day he was wearing a metal choker essentially, and a backwards hat.
If I wore a choker, they'd either send me to the fucking hospital or they'd just arrest me. There's no other option.
That's the conversation that Kevin and I, KFC and I had, where we were saying, like, him and John Feidelberg can show up in these things and people are like, that kind of works.
Yeah.
But if you or me or Kevin did it, we'd be thrown into a loony bin.
For sure.
So during this Friday Night Pints episode that Rudy was on, he had the necklace and the backwards hat, and I was wearing the blue crew neck, and we decided to throw all of Rudy's accessories onto me and see what it looked like. And I took my glasses off, I put the backwards hat on, I put the choker necklace on, and Rhea took a picture of me and put it out there, and it got incredible reviews.
From the ladies.
From the ladies and the men. From both sexes.
Yeah,
it hit in both places.
I said he turned me on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you looked cool and hot, I would say, in that photo.
And a big part of it is the no glasses. If I were just to get contacts and if I wore a backwards hat every day, apparently the Clark Kent thing is very real.
It's very real, man. And it's just crazy to me that that there's a variant of you, of Trent Ryan, that can just look the way that you looked on that tweet all the time, and you're choosing to not look like that.
Well, let me ask you this.
You're actually choosing not to look like that.
Can I make the switch?
100%.
Is that allowed?
Yes.
Like, I've been wearing glasses now forever. I've been on camera. I've done all this with glasses. Like, I don't know if I can make the full-time switch.
What do you mean you don't know, Riggs? You got your fucking eyes fixed.
Yeah, and people were mad about it. People were like, this is ruined the fucking thing. I think for Trent, yeah, but for us, no. It's exactly like the eyes thing.
You got the eyes fixed and you shaved your head, and you look better. So.
Right, like we just accept it now. Like, yeah, sure, you go through some shit for like a week, but like we just accept that's why you did it. Like, you did exactly what we're saying for him to do, and you're saying no.
And skeet shoot.
I think it's the right move. I'm not saying that we're going to be able to accept it right away. Like, you're going to have to go through some speed bumps to get like acceptance from us. But yeah, for you personally,
what if
you absolutely should do it? We're not going to be happy about it.
What if I just split time? If I start doing a little bit,
you got to get the glasses line out of there.
Right, it's pretty prominent.
And when you've worn glasses your whole life, I think your eyes like sink in a little bit. They're gonna have to come out a little bit.
I will say, like, the response was really nice, and people were like, "Oh, you look so much better." But indirectly, that is them saying that the way I currently look, is worse.
Dude,
like a lot worse.
Somebody put like a screenshot of what you currently look like. And the one and the hot guy Trent picture, and they're just like, "Can you believe this is Trent?" And I was just like, "Well, that's Trent on the left. That we're glossing over the fact that that's how he's gonna look the rest of his life. Like, why? It was kind of mean, like you're saying."
Right, like in 5 minutes, he's gonna look like what you're saying no one should ever look like.
Right,
which that's just crazy. How I normally look. I wake up and I put on all of my clothes and my glasses, and that's how I always look.
Listen, I think for all the people that can't make such a drastic change, like I can't drastically change. The only day I ever change my look is when I play in putt punk and I'm able to throw on a bandana. I let the hair go out, and everyone's like, "Oh, you should look like that all the time." But that's not realistic. I'm not gonna walk around with a fucking bandana around my head and curly hair coming out and fucking black emo clothes. All you gotta do is just get contacts. You have a chance to upgrade your look. I can't upgrade my look. I am a white, doughy, user one avatar on Wii type of person. You have a chance to upgrade. You can go to like user 4 right now. Like, you're able to upgrade yourself.
You dabble, Frankie. You dabble. Like, occasionally you just assume this different character. You wear a cool guy shirt. You wear like a totally unorthodox outfit to a wedding. You'll show up for a 4-man scramble, biggest video we're ever doing, and you're just dressed exactly like Bubba Watson.
Yeah, the mustache was nuts.
Yeah, true.
See, I tried though,
but you don't do it permanent. You do dabble, and then you just go back to you.
Right, because the stuff I do are so extreme. I can't wear turtlenecks to every wedding. I can't have a mustache like that anymore and stand by a school. Like, you can't do any of that stuff. You are able to change your life by just getting contacts or LASIK eye surgery.
I think I'm going to do it.
You have to do it.
I think I'm going to do it.
Personal level, I think you should. You should do it. But I will say, like, we're gonna miss like classic Trent
big time. But dude, if you got LASIK, like if you're gonna do it, you should get that eye surgery. Why would you willingly want to change to go put plastic in your eyeballs? I have contacts and I fucking hate them. I've had them since I was in 7th grade. I can't take them.
You're eligible for it, Trent. Do you know that?
I don't. I have no idea.
What's the eligibility? How does that even work? Like,
all I know is my buddy.
Like, how come you couldn't do it, Frankie, but he could?
I haven't tried. I haven't tried. I'm gonna do it though. I've had way too many procedures lined up this year for me. I gotta just like stay away.
There's also a little bit of comfort to me if I were to get if I were to get contacts as opposed to getting LASIK, that I can still wear the glasses sometimes.
Why would you want bad vision to like wear the glasses?
You could just wear the glasses without bad vision. Like,
Yeah.
just
true.
Just put glass in there.
My buddy Rob, who's an absolute nightmare, got LASIK eye surgery. It's the only positive he's had in his life for the last, 4 or 5 years. He's the same guy that got his fucking teeth knocked out of him back when we were in like 11th grade, and his tooth's been falling out in his ham sandwich. He never laughs at work. He fell down the attic getting his Christmas stuff for his mom, and the
Decorations?
Yeah, but the ladder gave out.
Oh.
He fell down the stairs, almost broke his spine. He hasn't been walking the same since. He fell at the Mets game recently. I didn't tell you that. He split his fucking finger open. He goes to physical therapy. He has to do this little bending thing just to get his finger range back. That same guy got LASIK eye surgery and it went well. So I think for you, it's a no-brainer that Trent Ryan gets LASIK eye surgery, takes those glasses off. I mean,
I'll never forget one of my buddies from school got LASIK, and I picked him up from post surgery. He came back to my apartment at the time and hung out, and we were watching ESPN. And after like 30 seconds, he just goes, "Wait, you guys could just read the ticker on the bottom of the screen the whole fucking time?" And and we just had a legitimate conversation where he was just seeing clearly all of the stuff on the screen that he previously could never read.
That's actually interesting because the moment I knew I needed glasses was when I couldn't read the ticker on ESPN. Because I worked a 9-to-5 job in front of a computer where you're just staring at a computer and it's just burning your eyeballs all day. And then I noticed I couldn't read like the roster or the batting average that was going across the ticker. And I was like, oh, I'm fucked.
Oh, so you didn't wear glasses in like high school?
No.
Oh, wow. I thought you were like a glasses. I thought Trent Ryan had those like little silicone glasses like the little babies wear, when their eyes are all like messed up.
I've probably been a glasses guy for...
Like me?
You had those glasses, Riggs?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture right now.
Oh,
maybe,
my God, that's so good.
I guess like a little over a decade. A little over a decade that I've been a glasses guy.
So you were a big boy when you had glasses. You weren't like...
I was a big boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me nervous, but I kind of want to get LASIK.
100%, dude. I've heard that, and I'm gonna get it. I just need to stay away from procedures for a little bit because I know I gotta get my left arm done too. I've heard it's the best money. If they charge $20,000, people would do it. The people that have done it, I think it's like a couple grand each eye. I've heard that if they charge $20,000, that people would do it again. That's how life changing it is. You wake up, dude, and you have vision,
which is so foreign to me. I can't even.
You go to sleep and watch a movie. You have vision until you fall asleep. Like that stuff to me is nuts. Last night I watched the Sunday Night Football game, and I had to wear my glasses while I watched the game. I was starting to get tired, and I had to have my glasses on. And then I wanted to take them off, but then something else happened in the game. I had to put my glasses back on, and then I'm not tired anymore. It's like imagine just falling asleep.
In one of the clips that came out from the Friday Night Pints, when I'm putting on the hat and I've got the necklace on, I go to push my glasses back onto my head, and I look like the biggest loser in the world because I'm just so used to that. I don't know. I'm honestly split on it because I feel like
you're a successful single man in New York City. Go make yourself look hot. What's wrong?
I agree. Do it, Trent. I'm rooting for you to do it.
Imagine him on the Bachelor shows.
Also, putting in the caveat that we are going to be publicly upset about it for at least a few weeks.
I do think there will be backlash about me not wearing glasses. You're saying not to worry about that.
Like that's also a new era of Trent. Like hot Trent's hilarious.
Right, but I like this era currently. It seems like things are going pretty well.
They are going well, but you think it's all because of your glasses?
Who knows?
Well, you think like hot Trent's just going to bring all these new problems into his life now?
What if that happens? How bad are you guys going to feel if I get LASIK done and then my life turns to shit?
You're stuck and start wearing your dorky glasses again if that happens.
Okay. I think I'm going to look into LASIK, and if I'm too scared,
you're a candidate.
How do I do that? We can talk about that.
You go for a consult.
Okay, and if they say no to that, I'll just get contacts, and that'll be my.
You're going to have so many LASIK people reach out to you now.
You're going to hate contacts. You're going to fucking hate contacts. I'm used to them now, but you're putting plastic in your eyeballs. They burn like a motherfucker in that first month. You're just like, dude, waking up, going to work, and putting plastic in your eyeballs when you're fucking tired. it's the worst feeling in the world. It's just like, oh.
I'm going to look into all this, and then I'll get back to you. But I appreciate the support.
And if you're a LASIK person and want to do a 2-for-1 shot, hit me and Trent up. I'll go with them.
Right.
If you want to do 4 eyeballs for the price of 1, hit us up.
Right. Even if it's in like an alleyway somewhere.
Yeah, I'll go somewhere. Hit us up.
Okay.
I'm done with this show.
All right.
How mad do you think Jake Bass is that we're still going on this fucking
He's
show?
actually, his demeanor seems pretty good right now.
Well, it's relatively early, I guess. It's only, 4 o'clock over there?
Yeah.
I've been trying to be a more positive human being.
There you go.
Did you take some?
Frankie,
Right? Did you take some of the drugs that Frankie gave you?
No, I think
that was a joke.
After the Michigan trip, I took a look at myself and I was like, you know what? It's just a job.
Are you microdosing mushrooms?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to relax too. Maybe all that stuff just changed us. Yeah. Maybe the banding and just like traveling.
Much like Bryson DeChambeau, I think. It's going to go back to its regular ways.
Well, I did start getting a little hot about the Colt stuff, so I felt myself. I was running down a hill again.
Yeah.
So
we need that. That's you. Yeah. Be you, Frankie. Right. But just maybe, we can all try to be a little bit better version of ourselves, but be you.
But you don't feel that way about my glasses, to be clear. Where it's like...
You can't change your persona. You just got to look hotter.
No, dude. Also, it's just, it gets... Frankie said it with me. It's like it just gets accepted. Like, remember the first day I came with a shaved head and everyone's like, oh my fucking God. And now it's like,
I cried.
This is what I look like.
I was horrified. I didn't know what to do. You. No, I just it was just jarring.
Right, like now, but now it looks very normal.
I can't imagine you with hair.
This is what I look like all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to look into it.
I've looked like this for 2 years now. It's just like what I look like.
Right.
That's just you would just be hot, Trent. Like
you've looked like that for 2 years. He used to not look like this 10 years ago. What's the you know what I mean? There's no difference there. Like now, then after 2 years, you'll have only looked like that for 10 years of your life and 30 years of your other life.
Okay.
It's also like, look at Dave. Dave was like a grotesque, like fat fucking guy blogging in his basement. And then he got better looking. His life's gone pretty good, I would say, in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Getting hot does bring in the dollars.
Or chicken and the egg.
I think the hot people usually win that argument.
Dave's the anti that though.
Dave got hot
once the money started coming in.
I think he had money coming in for a while, but money like really started coming
like real
in.
Money.
Super real money.
Yeah, true.
All right, I'm going to look into it, and I probably will. At some point, I'm not going to have glasses in the near future.
And it's not some irreversible thing like your current persona. You just put glasses on. Like Frankie said, why would you want to just have shitty vision to keep your persona going? It doesn't matter. Just get better vision, and then you just wear the glasses and just lie to people all the time if you want to.
Okay. Right. You could just have the no prescription glasses.
I could have it right now.
PFT has he didn't wear glasses. He wore glasses for like 5 years. He just took them off for the first time.
Right.
He goes home and takes his sunglasses off.
Things are changing, feels like.
Big time.
So I'll change.
Unless you get crazy backlash after the show, being like you can't take those glasses off.
Yeah, you are going to get that.
I'll get some of it.
The only constant is change. So just change.
If that happens, I mean, so many people care about what you look like and they care about the show that they literally don't want the show to change. And even if it means that your glasses come off. So that's actually a positive. You take that lightly. There he goes. The guy's glasses off right now. It is jarring.
Now I can't really see. Riggs is a blob.
Dude, it's it's literally like when you take your glasses off, somehow it forms like a jawline on you, like a nice strong jawline on your face.
I had a bunch of people tweeting me saying that.
I don't know if I can get used to this.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't even look at it.
A lot of people saying like, for years I made fun of the Clark Kent Superman thing, and now it's like they didn't think that glasses could change a person's face that much. Turns out mine kind of do that.
It's
what do you
crazy.
think?
I don't know.
Frankie's just like
it's honestly scary, dude. It's fucking horrifying.
See, this is what I don't want to have to deal with.
I can't look at you. I can't look at you in the eyes. I can't. I also couldn't look Riggs in the eyes when he got his fucking eyes fixed. It's just weird.
Dude, when I went over to you that day, Frankie, I'll never forget the conversation you had with me. You're like, that's just not you.
Right.
Like,
I'm not looking at
you right now.
That's like if my dad showed up with no mustache, I don't know what I would do.
See, now you're arguing the other side of it.
Right,
you understand?
Yeah, no, because I'm looking at you. You're hard to look at. It's hard to look at you. I can't do it. I feel uncomfortable.
All right, hit it hard.
I'm not saying you look bad. I'm just saying it's uncomfortable to look at you without glasses on.
You look better. It's just, I agree. It's weird. I don't know who that is looking at. When you look at the screen, dude, I just want to look away.
Put your glasses on, dude. Put your glasses on. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.